fishing, and I never know when it's going to...
What's up, everybody? Wolf from Walmart. We're back, baby, again.
Not a bad fish right there, guys.
Oh, no.
Out here catching Folsom bass right now, dude. Woo, he's a little chunker. What up, what up, what up? 'Tis I again, the host of the Whole Angler Podcast. Sorry, guys, I've been gone for a few weeks. But like I told you, family comes first. So this always is right to follow, you know. But sometimes I got to do stuff with the family, and I don't regret it one bit. So if you're sore that haven't been here, I'm sorry for you. That is your feelings, not mine. Point being is, I am I can't even get my words together. I'm really excited about this show. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm a huge fan of the guest. This is the big deal. This is my 1 year show. 1 year. I've been doing this for a whole year. I know it doesn't seem like I've been doing it for a whole year because, family comes first. So I take a few weeks off here and there, but I have been here a year. You guys have been following me for a year, and I appreciate you guys, all the interactions, all the DMs, all the messages, the texts. Like, thank you, everybody who's listening. I really appreciate your feedback, and I really appreciate your support. It's been super awesome. And speaking of support, this isn't a plug. It's going to be a plug, and this is a plug for my buddies over here. Tonight, I'm wearing the Bass and Brews Fishing Podcast shirt. Alex and Paul over there, they were the guys that kind of kicked me off. They let me send them like silly pictures and make fun of their show, and they loved it. And we just started building a relationship, and years later, here I sit. So if you guys are interested in supporting the people that I support, Bass and Brews Fishing Podcast, they're over there. You can go find them online. You can go order a shirt. They got these cool Brewski shirts. They got their regular logo shirts. All of them are awesome. Oversized, order it, because the moment you wash it, it's smaller. So that, and I would also like to thank the sponsor of this show, Drew Gregory, and the boys over here at the Kayak Adventure Series. Thank you, Drew, for supporting me how you have, dude. Thank you so much. I'm saying thank you publicly on the show, but Drew will definitely receive a thank you via phone calls, because I like to annoy him on a regular basis if I can. Also, I want to thank these guys right here.
What up, dudes and dudettes? I'm sure you're tired of hearing my voice by now, but you're gonna hear it for a little bit longer, because this is a shout out to the sponsor of this show, Kayak City. Kayak City has been taking care of me ever since I started getting into a boat and paddling around in the water trying to catch some fish. And when I tell you it is Kayak City, it is literally like a city of kayaks. They have Bonafide, Eddyline, Feel Free, Hobie, Jackson, Native, New Canoe, Old Town, Wilderness Systems, and so many used kayaks. I stopped trying to count them a long time ago. If you guys are looking for accessories, they have walls and walls and walls of accessories. They have one wall dedicated specifically to Yak Attack, and it is a massive wall. Kayak City is your #1 Yak Attack dealer here in Northern California. If you want to know where it is, stop by at 7812 Auburn Boulevard, Citrus Heights, CA. Roll through, say what up to James, Troy, Eric, Scott. Tell them Dave says what's up, and tell them I sent you there. Thanks for listening.
Also, by the way, I have this here, Element. If you guys are interested, check out the link in bio for the code. If you are missing electrolytes in your life, this is literally the best electrolytes on the planet. Go take a look. It's LMNT. You can find it on my link in the bio of the Instagram of this show. Now, I am going to talk fishing for half a second. Anybody who knows me, anybody who doesn't know me, anybody who's listened to me for 15 minutes, when they talk about fishing, what do you like to fish, Dave? Number one thing I throw, I do not care where or when it is, I throw frog. I'm a frog. I love it. There's something about frog fishing to me. I don't know if it's the explosiveness of the bite or it's the suspense and then boom, clap, like that just gets my heart racing. Something about a good frog fish just really sends me through the roof. And when I started looking into more frog fishing, I started following this guy and started listening to his tips and tricks and just slowly watching him up and down in the ranks all over the tournament series. I was going backlogging. I was going all the like history of Bassmaster, really trying to find all these videos and see how it all went down. And I could sit here and explain all that to you, but I'd rather have him do it for you. So we're not going to talk frog fishing tonight. We're going to talk about his life and what got him there. And without further ado, I bring to you the guest of the 1 year show, Sir Fred Roumbanis.
Hey, what's going on, Dave? Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Dude, thank you for saying yes to coming on. I know it was a nightmare trying to get it worked out.
No, I look, and I feel bad. I'm glad it's the 1 year anniversary of your show. We get to finally land this. I know we've tried throughout the year to get it going, but it was either practice for a tournament or traveling there. Today was unique. We literally just flew back today from a San Francisco 49er game. So we were like in your backyard for less than 48 hours, but we did make it back here to Arkansas safe. So here we are.
I'm glad. Well, I'm glad you made it safe. I know we talked earlier on the phone, and I was like, man, it'd been crazy to like. I was thinking about it in my head, like if you had stayed or if you had been here, how would I have facilitated that or made that work? Because I'm just a guy in his garage. I'm like, we would have just been passing the microphone back and forth like sharing a bottle, you know. So it's just like,
cool.
yeah.
Hey, we may have to do that next year for the Ultimate Frog Championship.
Hey, dude, and thanks for inviting me out. That was super fun to come see and check all that stuff out. Like it was Daddy Daycare Day, but she had a blast too. Like it was super fun coming out.
Avery,
yeah.
Right?
Avery, yeah.
Yep.
She will probably be a part of the end of the show, or she might make a surprise visit at some point or another because it's still early in the afternoon. You never know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. So, okay, Fred, dude. I like I said, I've followed your career and I've had to backlog it because I have not been fishing as long as you've been fishing. And I find a lot of the points really interesting, but I've heard more stories about your life than I have found. And so I would love to talk with you about them tonight. I don't know how to even word that right now. Sorry. Let's start at the beginning. Where and when were you born?
Well, I was born late 70s.
Yeah.
Aged me a little bit there. 1978 in California. So I grew up out there. Really kind of we grew up in the East Bay. We grew up in a city called Orinda, just east of San Francisco, 20 minutes. And we had a rim trail that led to the Lafayette Reservoir. So as a kid, summertime, my parents worked. My dad was a cable car conductor. My mom worked in the city at the Bank of America building and law firm. So she was working days. My dad was working nights. My daycare was grab my BMX bike and a couple fishing rods and phone a few friends with the old dial-up phone. We're going to ride down the rim trail and we're going to bass fish all day long until mom gets back from work. And hopefully she'll be able to put our BMX bikes in the trunk of her car and give us a ride back up the hill. Cause it was a straight downhill trip to the reservoir, straight uphill if we had to ride back.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, but growing up out there, we didn't have very much. I mean, it sounds like we had a lot, but we really didn't. And we had the reservoir that was tough fishing. I mean, incredibly tough, but we had Bassmasters on TNN. We had Hank Parker show. We had Jimmy Houston, Bill Dance, Roland Martin. We had all those legends that had TV shows back then. And every now and then we'd go down and find, like at the Long's Drug Store, believe it or not, they had a little fishing department. And they would have VCR tapes of some of these fishing shows. So Dave Winkleman and, just some random stuff. And I was always excited whenever there was something about fishing. And I would watch a show or whatever, and I'd go down there and try to catch a fish, and it sometimes I'd fish for a week before I even caught a bass. I mean, that's how tough it was, but so much fun. I mean, sure, we could throw live night crawlers to catch bass doing that, but we really wanted to try to catch them on the artificial stuff. And that's really kind of how I got started, and that was young. I mean, I was 8, 10, 12, doing all this stuff. Little kids running down, our BMX bikes and fishing by ourselves, and park rangers were kind of our daycare at the time. And we didn't know what we were doing, but
yeah.
I really do remember one bite that kind of got me, all started in this whole deal. My grandfather had got me a Zebco 33 Classic combo, and a little tackle box. And it was in the early 80s. And I went down there and it had in the tackle box had some salmon eggs, some split shots, maybe like a little flat skirt spinnerbait, purple, beetle spin, just some random little things, a stringer. And it was just
gotta have a stringer.
Whatever somebody told him at the tackle store to buy for me, right?
Yeah.
And it was cool. I went down there and I realized you take these little split shots, you split shot them onto your line. That nobody told me you kind of gotta keep, like, you just use one. I was putting like 5 of them spaced out like every 4 inches. And then I took the hook. There was like an eagle clawed threaded hook, with a loop on it. Don't even know how I tied that knot. And then threaded some salmon eggs on there. And I was taking a little push cast, Zebco 33, and I remember firing off this dock, and everybody's trout fishing off the dock with little bells.
Yeah.
They're waiting for their,
Yeah. They're waiting for the
marshmallow rig before power bait. Even this is how long it is.
yes.
ago.
Yes.
And they had the marshmallows holding the bait up off the bottom. And I was watching what they were doing, but I didn't have marshmallows. That was one thing my grandpa didn't give me. So I was sitting there winding these salmon eggs, and I hooked up. All these people were just sitting there waiting for their bells to ring and bobbers on their line to float up.
Mhm.
Because they're putting the bobbers on the rod, Anyway, I hooked into a bass. I wound it in and caught it, and everybody on the dock. And when you're an 8, 9, 10-year-old kid and you catch something like that, a bass, reeling it in, and everyone on the dock's excited for you, and it was the first time in my life I got praisal from adults. I can't tell you how impactful that and meaningful that was for my life. Looking back on it now that I have kids, I understand it. If you have kids and they get into sports, and they may not get the playing time or this and that. It mentally could get to them. And there was things in my life that I just felt like I wasn't good at, and this was the first thing that I really wasn't good at, but I got the attention of the adults, and the applause, and it really just kind of it made that passion for fishing grow even stronger. And I'm telling you all this because, again, I have kids, and I think it's real important. If you are a coach and you're into sports, pay attention to every one of those kids, because there's something meaningful that they're going to be able to carry with them for the rest of their life. So anyway, that
affirmations mean everything.
Yes.
At a young age, affirmations mean everything.
Yes. And I can go in another route without having kids of my own, and watching how things are done, and wishing things could be done differently in some situations. But that's not my control, because I'm not the coach. You know what I'm saying? So this is years ago with my oldest, when he was younger. So, which I'm thankful now, because then he became in love with bass fishing, and he has become absolutely amazing. And he's college fishing. He's qualified for the Toyota Series. He's won a kayak tournament, one of the Hobie kayak tournaments when he was 15. And he's done some phenomenal stuff at a young age, and I know he's got that same feeling of appraisal from the adults when he does good, and it's a really neat thing. I know I'm getting off on a tangent here, but it's important, like you said.
It is important.
Affirmation. Yeah. But so for me, that was what really got me into it. This is really the only bass I think I've ever kept. Took home, and I don't even know how. I think I made my mom clean it because I didn't know what to do.
I got this fish. He's like,
yeah, I was just so happy, and. Then I realized, that they were that was when catch and release started. Like, people were starting to catch and release, and I realized, hey, we should be keeping these bass, keep the trout, So, but I didn't care at the time what I was really fishing for. It did draw an interest in bass fishing for me, and so by watching those shows and tapes and stuff, and going down there and taking a jig for like a week straight until I finally caught a bass on it, it was just the greatest thing ever. And it was, obviously we didn't have social media, we didn't have any of the stuff we have today, so the learning curve was way slower. But that's all I wanted to do. I'd be sitting in class as a kid dreaming about that bass that like ate my jig going through the reeds, at the reservoir from the bank, or just that mouth. And I would visualize watching that, and the teacher would be asking me questions. I'm like, huh? What were you saying? And make up stuff,
You're all Tom Water, what?
Typical dreamer.
Yeah. Yep.
So no, I did that. And then, fast forward, till I was 15, when I was old enough to get my first job. There was a tackle store in Contra Costa County right there, Hogan Sporting Goods. And so I applied for a job there with some of my buddies. And we had to get rides from our parents to work there at first. And then when I turned 16, I was the one driving my other buddies that weren't quite 16. And I worked there kind of on and off for many years. But what I could tell you, though, working at that tackle store, not only did it teach me a lot about bass fishing, but I could teach other people. And then I just remember some of the things I taught people salmon fishing in the Feather River. They'd come back with their big salmon they caught that day and show me that, and thank me. And it made me feel good. Like, here I am, showing rigs and teaching and spooling up reels and stuff like that. And seeing the reward afterwards from them. And I became a Sunday manager from that store. As I graduated high school, went on to DVC College, which was right there, 10 minutes from my job. So I was working there. Well, at that same time, some of the sales reps came in, and one of them was a Daiwa sales rep. And he kind of took me under his wing, and basically like let me work trade shows. So I worked like the San Francisco Cow Palace show back then.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that still a thing? I think it's ISE now, maybe.
yeah,
But
yeah. It doesn't
so
say it's
yeah, so I was
ISP,
doing
but
the shows. His name was Bill Reynolds,
Mhm.
dear friend of mine, and really he picked me up and would take me on some sales calls with him and really train me. And I remember like I turned 21 in Vegas working a trade show with him, and it was just a really fun experience. I got introduced to gambling a little bit, which I probably kind of regret that sometimes, but
nah, man, that's the
you know,
perfect
it's a good time.
age
You're
to do it.
21,
Yeah.
drinking a few beers, you're having a good time,
Yeah.
and learning the business, and that was the most important thing. Then I wanted to get back into school, and so well they kind of hired me as a salesman, and then I got wanting to go back to school a little bit because I was still real young, and 21. So I ended up working for a company, which I'm sure everybody on here will know who it is once I tell you. But I was working for a company that was the Pucci family, and they had a wholesale distribution center in Brisbane and San Francisco,
Mhm.
and it was called Smalley's Wholesale. So I did that while I was going to school. They let me work a couple days a week. I was basically restocking Long's drug stores and High's tackle box in the city and some places in Sonoma, and I would drive a little bit, but I only had to work a couple days a week to work for this company. Um, the Pucci family is P-line. So that is the P-line that you guys see, and
Oh
that's what the P stands
wow.
for. So yeah, so I was working for P-line. They gave me one of my first sponsors ever. Um, as I got older and stuff, started fishing more tournaments, but I really never stepped foot on a bass boat. So this whole time up until I was 18, whatever. Rewind a little bit.
Mhm.
I fished from the bank. Like
Yeah.
I would drive to, I got my driver's license 16. I would drive to Napa and I'd go fish Silverado golf course. I would,
Yeah.
we would drive to Clear Lake and fish from the shore. We would go to Berryessa, fish from the shore. We would go
Yes.
to all these reservoirs. It was weekend time and I had wheels. I was driving somewhere to fish.
Mhm.
Most of the places weren't really legal.
Yeah. Well,
So
hey,
I got some tickets fishing Brioni, San Leandro
they don't call
Reservoir,
it
some of those
trespassing for
places.
nothing,
Oh yeah, no, but honestly, like it was worth it because those places actually got bit by bass. So I started
Oh
getting
yeah.
better and better real
Yeah.
fast because they
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
easy.
Yep.
So yeah, fast forward again back to doing the sales stuff. So I was working for Smalley's for a little bit, and then this Calvin Western Sales that I was working for prior to that with Bill Reynolds, they called me up and wanted me to move to Southern California, and they were going to give me a truck and gas cards and everything else. And I was like, man, this is an opportunity. So I moved down to Huntington Beach, worked for them for a
18
little.
or
No. After 21. No.
okay. Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
skipping
Yeah.
around
I
a
was
little
like,
bit.
well,
My
that's
brain.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no. So I'm 20 at the time there. I think because I was going to school for a couple of years at DVC while I was working for Smalley. So now I'm like 22 maybe,
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm working
Perfect.
back for Calvin Western Sales. So
Yeah.
I went down there, and then I did that for about a year, and it was
What part
good.
of
I mean,
what
I was
part of
barely
SoCal?
in
What part of
SoCal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huntington
What
Beach.
part though?
Oh, in Huntington Beach.
Oh, okay. Okay. Huntington.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I was working down there in Los Alamitos.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yep. I
got to
grew
meet
up
some
down
really
there.
cool people, and then
Yeah.
Akuma came along and offered me a full time job, but would give me the time off, and it was the exact same time that FLW Tour pretty much really took off. But they also started this series called the Ever Start series,
Mm-hmm.
and Akuma said, "We want to hire you." It was it wasn't like great pay, but they gave me the time off to fish these Ever Start series. Um, so that's where I was like, okay, I'm doing this. Um, so I took the job, left the sales company, had to get back the truck, but took
Yeah.
this other job, and it was working in. It was like a 52-mile drive in Huntington Beach, but the 52 miles was 2 hours each way.
Yep.
And when you're barely getting by, paying your rent and everything, um, you got to make a happy hour somewhere after work,
Oh
and
yeah.
they usually stop at 7 o'clock. So I would literally roll into this place. I think it was called Hurricanes. It was more of a nightclub, but they had a
Yeah. It's
restaurant.
upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's upstairs.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking
Yep.
about?
I
Yep,
know
yep, yep.
exactly where I
So
grew up in
I'd
Southern
sit at the bar.
California.
They had a spot for me, and I'd get my half off appetizers, and that was what I would eat. Literally, like that was my dinner, and I'd
Yeah,
sit
dude.
there with this older guy, Kirk Beardsley. I'll never forget him, man. We would sit there, and he would tell me life stories, and it was literally like this young kid and this old dude. It was just it was fun, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. I fished that Ever Start series that year, and
So
all of a sudden I get this letter in the mail.
real
Oh, yeah.
quick. Hurricanes, you're 22 years old. What year is that?
Probably
That's
23 at this point. I'm kind of as I'm
yeah. I'm
23,
just trying to think, like 22, 23.
2001,
You're only
2000
about 4. Okay, so you're 4 years ahead of me. I was working across the street of
at
Hurricanes.
Fred's.
Nope, over at Beachcombers. The
Oh, no way.
yeah, the little skate surf shop right there.
No way.
Yep.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
working there. I was
We
a little,
probably ran into each other. You probably sold me a pair of sunglasses.
most likely. Yeah, I used to sell. I sat in the back and worked the skate section, and then I would come up and I'd sell sunglasses, bikinis, and then go back to the skateboard section because they're the only things that mattered.
What? Small. Oh, this is wild.
Yeah, dude.
This is wild.
Yeah, I grew up in Long Beach. Like that's where I'm from. So like I would go to work in Huntington Beach. Yeah.
Oh man, I actually. We can go. We'll talk about it later. But there's the Yard House. I've been to the owner's house.
Oh,
I got. Yeah, it was. We'll talk about all that later. But it was fun, man. We had some good times.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I loved the life down there. It was a grind. I mean, I barely got by, and then I got this letter in the mail, and it said, "Congratulations, you qualified for the FLW tour."
Wait, say that again. Speak up. Sorry,
sorry. There we go. I get this letter in the mail, and it says, "Congratulations, you qualified to the FLW tour," and it shows the payouts. And I've never seen money like that, and it showed that at the time. I mean, you were into the tournaments for, I don't know, what was it, like $2,500 is all the entries were back then, which is a lot of money to somebody who doesn't have any. But the payout was like, 100 grand, 50th place, 10,000, and then they had two open tournaments which paid 200,000 first place. And I'm like, I got to figure out how to get in these deals.
Yeah.
So I went to my bosses at Akuma, Sam Brenner over there, Doug. I mean, I'll never forget the guys that helped carry me.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, we want you to chase your dream. So they gave me a little bit of scratch, wrapped my boat and truck, and I went out and chased it. Mostly on credit card.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But the second tournament in was at Chafalaya Basin, and I was in fourth place the first day and punching mats, doing what I like to do, out on the Delta, which, I really kind of didn't talk about all my Delta days with you here because there was many years of just Delta bass fishing. Oh, yeah. Every weekend tournaments, we've weighed some huge fish out there. Sunk a boat on my 19th birthday.
You sunk a boat?
Yeah, I did. So I know I kind of skipped all that, but yes, out in Frank's track. There's probably a lot of people that tell you stories about that stuff, but I was just green. I was green. I loved bass fishing back then, and now I finally all of a sudden made it to the tour. I had an older boat. I didn't have a new boat. Mm-hmm. I struggled pretty much the whole. I mean, I got a good $10,000 check there, but again, there were 2,500 entry fee, and I didn't have at that time. I'd moved, pretty much left everything in storage in SoCal. I was probably in one of those storage wars. I think everything I had was. I just kind of left everything down there and chased this fishing thing, and kind of moved back with my parents up in Northern California while I'm doing it. So that was my home base. They had moved up to Lake of the Pines, actually. So you're familiar with that?
My wife's sister lives there still. She grew up there. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Small world. This is crazy. Yeah. So at Lake of the Pines, it was unbelievable.
That place is
in there.
Really fun.
Incredible.
Fish. Oh yeah. It's so fun. Yeah.
Michael Bennett and I and his brother, we all fished together out there, and we would jump in my boat and have little tournaments and stuff. We'd pass a little trophy around. It was cool. But anyway, fast forward, I make the FLW tour. Goes the last term of the year. Now there's 200 boats in this. Payout's good, but there's 200 boats, Yeah. And I struggled other than the one check, and I finally had a good run. I was at Lake Champlain throwing a frog. And I found an area. I found two areas. I found one area that was really good for numbers. I found one area that was good for big ones. But the big fish area was more of a late in the day deal. So I can number them out and get 15 pounds pretty quick and keep on upgrading, 16, whatever. And then some. And then I'd go hunt the bigger fish up further in up Missisquoi Bay. Mm-hmm. Anyway, day 2 rolls around, and now I got company. I got a guy named Dean Rojas. I don't mind throwing him under the bus on this one because he did me wrong. He sees me. He goes in. He tells me I can leave now. He kind of bullied me out of that spot, and I was like, dude, that's not cool. I look up to you. I just remember that. And I let him have it, and I went on to this other area. Well, when I went to the other area, the wind started picking up, started getting rough. I got in there. I had about an hour to fish, but I had a limit. I had a 4.5 pound kicker. Well, I immediately catch another 4.5 pounder, and when I go to put that one in the box, and it was a valuable lesson I think about today. I left the lid open while I turned my back culling. That other 4.5 jumped in the lake without me knowing. It made it back on the deck, and then when I went to cull and I put the little one in, and I put the other 4.5 in the live well, all of a sudden I only got 4 fish. And I'm looking in the live well, where's the other one? I asked my guy in the back deck. Well, I guess I probably should have given him a frog because I didn't give him one. He said, oh, yeah, that one jumped back in. I was like, what the heck, dude? You didn't say anything. So I was in a
You
panic
didn't try and
mode.
stop it or anything? Like,
No, nothing. So then I ended up, John Murray was coming out, and John sees me. You know, he kind of took me under my wing too when I was younger, traveling. But anyway, John sees me coming out. He's out of a little creek, and he sees me out there, and he sees me looking all over my boat for a bass. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I lost my because I had 2 4.5s, and I only got one now." Anyway, so I asked him. I said, "Man," or I told him, I said, "Man, frog bite's about to get really good here," and he's like, "We got to go. The wind's picking. It's gonna be a rough ride back." I'm like, "Man, I got an hour, to get back." I had like. At this time, I think I had like 15 more minutes I could fish probably in my head. Probably shouldn't have. But I ended up catching another 4 pounder, and I ended up with like 18.5 pounds when I should have had like 21. So I come back in. I miss the top 10 cut by like no weight at all. I ended up 12. So I get a good check, but I don't know what it was, $10,000-$12,000 check.
Mhm.
I missed requalifying the FLW tour by 1 point. Not only was the other part is had I caught that other one, I would have made top 10 and had a shot at winning $200,000. So now I got a check. On the way back, running in, I actually went through a wave, not like up and over those big rollers. I went through it, and the cowling of my motor actually flew off. I came in with no cowling. I mean, it was a nightmare. I remember driving all the way back to California with a towel wrapped around my motor, and I had to order another cowling. So yeah, I mean, it was just one of that's the kind of stuff I went through, and I really didn't make any money that year, but I kind of left myself, wondering what I should be doing the next year. And then, so,
Well, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let's unpack some of that, just because I find a couple points really interesting. First off,
Yeah.
you jumped in with nothing. Like you
Yeah.
literally said, you packed up everything. You jumped in with nothing. Your
Nothing.
old boat, and you're like, I scratched together this 2,500. Let's see how long I can run this credit card. It is, like that's
pretty
awesome.
much.
Yeah. Now you said that there's guys that have taken you under their wing. Like that's, I hear about that, but
Yeah.
via like what we're talking about right now, people will say that, but what does that mean? Like on tour, like you're in the middle of, the country with no support. So how does that work when they take you are they like giving you meals? Or are they like giving you pointers? Like,
No,
explain to me
so
the relationship.
When I say that about John Murray, I met him when I was doing sales for that Cal and Western Sales. I went to Arizona
Mhm.
and got to hang out with him, and Andre Moore was living down there not too far at the time as well. And Andre used to come to the tackle store and buy stuff, and I'd ship him rods if he was fishing a tournament or whatever. So I've known Andre before he started Reaction Innovations. And so like those two guys, we all traveled together, we all kind of went out and just looked after each other back then. They knew I had a little 6-banger Dodge Ram with the
Yeah.
roll up windows,
Oh
just
yeah.
one bench seat
Yeah.
that should not be towing a boat. I blew the radiator heading back after that. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so anyway, I missed requalifying. I did get the opportunity to get invited to fish a Euro Cup with Ike Anelli and Kelly Jordan and Ish Monroe and several other guys, Byron Velvick. We went to Spain later that summer. It was right after a U.S. Open that I fished. So I went out there and I was not sure what I was going to do. I was like, maybe I'll go back and work at that tackle store or try to get back into sales or something,
Yeah.
I didn't really want to quit fishing, but I remember in Spain, Kelly Jordan said, "Oh, you can't give up now." He's like, there's a Northern Ever Start series that hasn't even started yet. And I'm like, really? And so he's like, yeah, you can go up there and make it back on the FLW tour that way. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to try it. And I literally put it on my credit card, and went up and fished Detroit River. Never seen it, never looked at a map. As soon as we got back, it was like it started. I went for it. I drove from California to Detroit River, finished like 65th in the first tournament. This is where everything gets real sketchy in my life.
Yeah.
So 65th, first tournament, out of 200. I mean, I guess that's okay points, right? No money, didn't cash check.
No,
I'm not like sure what I'm gonna do now. I'm not going home. It's weird because
scary,
they did
though.
Detroit River twice that year. Yeah, so it was weird. So I went to Detroit River. I actually went to the hospital the night of the second day because I thought I broke my ribs because they got this Miracle Mile area, and my boat at the time was an old Skeeter. I literally had to drill new screws all the way through the rub rail because it was coming apart, and every day. So now I got shingles. Oh yeah, I went to the doctor. I thought I broke my ribs. I had shingles. Found out it was shingles. I didn't know. At 20, now I'm 25, 26, somewhere around there. I got shingles, and I was 25, I think. Anyway, getting old now. But I got shingles, and they said I caught it in time. I guess you can catch it within like 24 hours or whatever. They gave me some ointment, whatever. I had to go to like Walgreens and buy a pack of white T-shirts, and that was all I could wear because it was so sensitive. It felt like broken glass on my body, and there was a week off before the next one, which was La Crosse, Wisconsin. So we got up there. We stayed in Motel 6. I had a buddy from California travel with me, Iz Bird, ex-pro skateboarder.
Yeah, I know.
He used to skate with like Caballero and stuff like that. So
yeah, he's a San Jose guy.
yeah. Izzy. So he's actually the first person to come up with the Nico rig, just so everybody knows this. I'm gonna put it right out there right now.
Really?
We called it the Iz rig forever. We didn't tell anybody about it. It was Lake Mead when I slept in my boat before we went to for the U.S. Open. Before I went to the Euro Cup. We were playing around with the Senko, sticking nail weights in it, and he caught big bass that one. Told me he was going to win Lake Shasta later that year. We'll get to that one after this story.
Hell yeah!
Because he did win Lake Shasta, and I ended up winning a second place and made the Bassmaster Elite Series after that. But that's a whole nother. That's that direction. So here we are. We're fishing Northern Ever Starts. I go to La Crosse, Wisconsin. Now I'm just dead broke. Like I stuck around. And I told Chris Jones, the tournament director, I said, Chris, dude, I'm done, man. I can't afford to keep going. This is the last turn. I can't pay we had balance due. Like right after this tournament, we had to pay for the next Detroit River, which I'm like, I don't even want to fish there. I don't want to see that place again. So rough, so scary. Iz and I went out and practiced one day towards Lake Lapili Islands, and where we couldn't see anything, and we're in my little beater. I was like, dude, and he's like, turn around. We went back. We didn't even try to go out that direction. We stayed in the river and went down towards St. Clair. But anyway, I go to La Crosse. I lay up pretty much all week. I'm hurting.
Yeah.
And I guess it was brought on, from the chickenpox virus when you're younger, the stress and the malnutrition. I mean, I was probably eating Taco Bell every day back then. So
yeah, I was gonna say you've been living off credit card with almost no money. So like,
yeah,
I was curious what that life is like on the road.
Dude, it was brutal. It was scary. And so I literally. So when I told Chris Jones I can't do it, I didn't even have any money. I was whatever I could put on my credit card. I was negative in my account. Luckily, we had co-anglers in those tournaments, so they'd give me some gas money I could fill up. But Chris told me at that meeting, this is the first time. So Chris says, I told him I can't pay. I'm done. And he goes, whoa, Fred. And Chris he's just got this aura and this presence that it's amazing. It was the first time I saw this light at the end of the tunnel with what he said. He goes, whoa, Fred, stop thinking about that. Don't worry about the next tournament. Think about right now. How do you think you can do this week? Well, I only pre-fished a couple days, found some lily pads, got a few frog bites. I said, if I land everything, I might get 12 to 14. And right when I said the 14, he goes, boom. He goes, Fred, if you catch 14 pounds a day, I will see you here on the final day, championship round. And I'm thinking, really? I didn't even think that was, possible. Everyone out here is talking 17, 18 pounds, doc, Yeah. And I'm thinking 12, 14. Well, the first day I get out there and I literally just fished flawless, caught like 15 pounds in like an hour. And I came all the way back to where I was fishing. And I basically stuck around the ramp area so I can weigh those fish in, and put me in fourth place the first day. I was so excited. Second day, I get drawn out. We have this huge bank of fog, and I really didn't. I mean, we had like a pinpoint GPS. It wasn't, it was like black and white, and it wasn't very good. And it's just what I had on my boat,
Yeah.
And where I was fishing was this little area called Lawrence Lake, and I had a little ditch that ran into it. It was kind of weird. I was running down the lake, and I couldn't see anything, and I'm still running, not safe, I'm sure. And I just had this feeling I got back off a little bit. I backed off, and literally there is a barge with, its containers right there. I'm going straight into the sucker, and I kind of veered off. And when I stopped and I'm shaking up, I look to my right, and there's that cut. I'm like, no way. So I just idled into that cut, got in there, and went to fishing. I caught like a 4.5. Now on a frog, but you ever brain one on a frog where it just like dies?
Yeah.
I did that. I caught a 4.5, cracked them, put them in live well. Didn't know anything was wrong with the fish. Caught one more bass, and then it just got this north wind. Everything got cold. The lily pads are flipping up like this. I can't get a bite. I didn't know anything about swimming a jig. There was no chatterbait back then.
Yeah.
There's things that would have caught them that I didn't have. Nobody had back then, really. I mean, other than the swim jig, that was what they were known for up there. And so the only other spot I found was locking down into Pool 9 in this area called Minnesota Slough, which is quite a ways when you lock down. And so I get down to the lock. Actually, I decided at noon I got to lock down. I get down to the lock, and it's like almost 1 o'clock. And the lockmaster says, you can't lock down. We got a barge coming up. The rest of the field that locked down is already coming up. And I was like, I got nothing. Like, I got to go catch a couple, 3 fish. So I said, just let me through, please. And he let me lock down. And when I locked down, I remember seeing guys. I remember this Rich Lewinsky for sure. He's telling me to turn around. We got a barge, and I just kept on going. I sailed down. I just flew down Minnesota Slough. There was this little sandbar into a little pond. I just kind of got my boat up into it. The water dropped a little bit where I was easily floating in, but I knew there were some fish in there because I got bit, and it was all duckweed. And I remember like 3 casts in a row. I'm sure it was like 10 casts, but I caught literally like 3, almost 3-pounders in a row. Boom, 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 boom. I put them in the live well, and I run back to the lock. And when I get there, sure enough, that barge is pushing through. Now, anybody that travels these places and sees these locks, a barge can take 3 hours to go through, depending on the cargo. And that's what they were all worried about. That's why everyone locked up. Luckily, I was last flight. Anyway, I get there, I get to the lock, and I just had this feeling of just like, you know what, I'm probably not gonna make it back, but I did what I had to come in with a bag that would have put me in the final day, or that they started the way. There was actually two-day tournaments, I think. Would have got me into there were 4-day tournaments back then. So
oh wow, okay,
yeah, back then. So I ended up, and they start the weights over, So anyway, the barge it was just fluid, like they just pushed them through, went through. I got through. I got out to the other side, and I ran all the way up. And meanwhile, they're already doing weigh-in and everything else, and everyone's talking about how I'm not going to make it back. He got locked out. He was dumb. Should have done that. It was stupid. And I made it back with like 30 seconds.
What?
I weighed my fish. Even with the dead fish penalty of that 4.5, I still made the top 10. I think I was fourth. I think I stayed in 4th place or whatever it was. And so I made the top 10. Well, the next day I go out, and one of my first fish is it's like 514 or so. It was like the biggest one of the whole tournament. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And then, and everything's settled down. I catch a pretty good limit there. I have my biggest bag on day 3. So now I'm leading the tournament at the scales. And then the final day, it got a lot tougher, obviously. And there was a lot less boats.
4 days of beat down.
I caught 4 fish. Took me a long time to catch these 4, and then I start running around looking for new water. I'm running around these islands and all this and that, just looking for anything that looked froggy, throwing it, catching pike, not catching bass. And so I finally run back into that area, and I go back. It's a lot of idle to get to where I was fishing. I finally get back there, and I catch a barely keeper, and I couldn't believe it. It was like, I got to go, and I caught it. I run back. I make it to the weigh-in. I caught like 11.5 pounds, but it was just enough to win the tournament. So now I went from negative in my account to a $10,000 check and a brand new Ranger. Now my buddy he's got to go back home. He's got to work. He's got this safari window deal. So I just happily drive from Wisconsin all the way back to California.
Eating good.
Was able to use that $10,000 check to pay off my credit cards.
Oh yeah.
Get back a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
Granted, gas, everything was a lot cheaper back then. So $10,000 was a lot
Goes a
more
long
than it is now.
way. Yep.
So I kept the boat certificate. I went ahead and ordered the boat. And it, that really wanted $15,000 to get the boat I wanted, but I was like, I'll just get a loan for that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. I drove back to the next tournament, which was up at the Little Bay to Knock, which is Lake Michigan, which is another. And I'm not driving the Ranger. That's the certificate you got to order. It takes a long time.
Yeah.
But so I'm back on the road with this old Skeeter, and I get up there, and I'm like, as soon as there's like a little area to go out, it's like the biggest waves I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to fish this tournament. So I went inland and fished these little lakes like the whole time I was there for 5 days of practice. I went out for like one day it was calm, and I saw a couple smallmouth in my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I'm just gonna just fish this, and I mean, I just won a tournament. I don't really care, like whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I went out there and I threw a little smallie beaver on a darter head, and every time I saw a smallmouth move up on the flat, I'd fire it up there in front of them and shake it, and they'd eat it, and I'd catch them. I made the top 10 in 4th place in that one. So I ended up 8th place in that tournament. So now I made like another $8,000 or so. It was a good payday.
Yeah.
And then the last one was back to the Detroit River again.
Oh yes.
I was dreading it. Well, I learned a lot. I learned about the spinnerbait bite. I met Jeff Ritter, who was finished 3rd at lacrosse, told me about the spinnerbait bite there, and kind of taught me a little bit about that. And I was teaching about the frog. He taught me a little bit about swim jigging. We just became really good friends over the years. And but at that time we were just kind of working together a little bit, just helping each other. Not really spots or anything like that. But anyway, so I found a spinnerbait spot, a really unique spinnerbait spot, but it was a very far run. It was all the way at the end of St. Clair to the mouth of the St. Clair River, which goes to Huron. I found some spinnerbait fish there. So from Elizabeth Park, you got to run the entire Detroit River, go over there. First day, I'm in 25th out of 200. I'm like, dude, I am on fire. At that moment, I was leading angler of the year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I won 8th place, and now I'm 20. Second day, I go back down there. I draw Dave Simmons. He was the Yamaha sponsor guy. Like he was the factory guy from Yamaha.
Got it.
And I was like, man, I gotta make sure he catches some fish. Like this could be a sponsor for me, or something.
Mm-hmm.
So we run down there, and I give him a Yozuri lipless crankbait at the time, and he caught a limit behind me before I even caught a fish. Then it got really, really rough, and I was like, I got one other area. I seen this little high spot, and I caught a smallmouth on a spinnerbait. I'm gonna run over there. It was the west side, and it was in practice. Well, and this is where this is gonna blow your mind right here. So in practice, I had another gentleman with me who was my co-angler, I think at lacrosse when I won. He was practicing with me that day, and we were going down that like 8 Mile. You seen the movie 8 Mile, Detroit? It's all bad area. This was 10 miles, a little hump out there, 1/4 mile, just a little rock spot. Mm-hmm. And I was throwing a spinnerbait, caught a fish in practice. Well, there was a dude in the water. It was like raining and storming, and he looked like he was in the water doing water aerobics. He was kind of going back and forth like this, and we both thought it was weird. And I like kind of was throwing my spinnerbait kind of his direction because he was on that high spot, and I caught a 3-pounder, and I marked it on my pinpoint back then.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so the only reason I went back to it is because I caught a fish there. So I run over there with Dave, and Dave's like, "Whoa, slow down! There's a dead body." And I'm like, "What? No, probably a sturgeon. Like, no way."
Yeah,
it was a dead body. So we pulled up, and it had a rope around his neck. The guy that I saw wasn't that guy.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I'm sick to my stomach. So I hit
yeah,
that man overboard button on that pinpoint, and there was a Coast Guard station not too far down. I ran straight to the Coast Guard, took them to the body. They saw the tattoos and stuff. They knew what was up. They basically a mafia kind of thing in that Detroit area is what they were saying.
Mm-hmm.
There was no, I mean, I had to sit there for a while. I never caught a fish that day. So here I am, lead angler of the year, and all of a sudden I tanked that day, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I was back in the FLW tour, my whole goal, and now it just cost me everything. I shook it up, blanked, like I couldn't fish after that,
I wouldn't be able to either, dude. That's so gnarly.
It was so freaky, dude.
Because then you're back thinking, and then that image gets stuck in your head of the day before, and you're just like, ugh. Yeah.
It's somehow like, Grace of God. I got back on the FLW tour. I qualified. So I got that invite. Now I'm happy again, but I'm still kind of messed up. I come back to California. We had some Bassmaster Opens out there. Finished ninth on the Delta. And that was a really cool tournament because I made a decision. I was 72nd the first day on the Delta, and the second day of the tournament, I was fishing Frank's track, and it was real gloomy out. All these little swallows early in the morning were dipping, diving down low by the reeds and the berms, and I started playing with a frog, and Russ Schneider.
Yeah.
Russ showed me Russ Snyder. Sorry, Russ Snyder showed me a little trick to make it look like a bird, and so I'm sitting there making a bird out of my frog. I tied its legs together. I threaded some through it, and I threw it out there, and I started walking it like a bird, and I caught 20-something pounds like immediately on a frog on that deal. So now I moved all the way to ninth place, got top 10.
Yeah.
It's funny because I think my co-angler was one that came out with that bird frog after that a couple of years ago. I didn't do it, but it doesn't look anything like what I made, so I didn't really care. It was flipping the bird, I think. I'd like to look in and see if that was, because it sure looks like the same guy. But anyway, cool idea, because that's what got me a ninth place in that Bassmaster. Anyway, so the next one was at Clear Lake. And at the time I had a girlfriend. She broke up with me. I just all spun out. I did not do good in that one. Then the next one was at Lake Shasta. It was the best thing that ever happened to me, by the way. And the next thing was at Lake Shasta. And we were talking about that U.S. Open. And my buddy Isbird, he came up, practiced with me for 2 hours, caught some fish doing that rig, which is the Nico rig with the Senko. You can look it up. It's all in writing somewhere.
Hell yeah.
And I like to, take a little credit because he was doing it with rubber worms, and I told him to do it to a Senko. But anyway, he did good. I ended up throwing a swim bait. I was throwing a swim bait the whole time, an old Bass Pro Shop XBS I found one of my journeys back east.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up leading the tournament for the first 2 days on that swim bait. And the third day, I lost a 4-pounder in my hands, which sucks. But I ended up second place in that elite tournament, or Bassmaster Open tournament. So I won a boat in that one too. In like the 4 months of this whole, from being negative in my account, I'd won over $100,000. So back then, it was incredible. Like my confidence went up. It was like, if I thought this was the deal and I stuck with it, it worked out. And so that was really cool. Now all of a sudden I'm qualified to the Bassmaster Elite Series. So not only am I qualified to the FLW Tour, I've qualified for the Bassmaster Elites. Well, I'm single, not married. I've got nothing, no responsibility, just reckless life of chasing a dream.
Love it. No, dude.
And I said, I'm doing both. I'll sell all these things. I'll just do both. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Put my deposits in. We'll just figure it out one at a time. John Murray's like, oh, yeah, all you got to do is just float your credit card. I'm like, what do you mean float? He's like, well, every time you cash a check, just pay your credit card off. If you cash a check every month, you'll never have debt. And I'm like, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
You'll build up credit. You'll get airplane tickets. You'll get all,
Yeah.
And dude, first Elite Series tournament, I took that same Bass Pro Shop swim bait. Dang near won Amistad. Ish beat me. I lost a 9-pounder last cast there in my hands that ran me into a tree, and I had to break them off to come in, and so I made it in time. Lost to Ish by 1.25 pounds. No. So I got a $35,000 check in that tournament right off the get go. I still hadn't even sold that boat, so I got that boat sold. So now I got a little money in the bank. Like I'm okay, we got this. And then we're rolling the FLW, and we just were fishing all right. We were doing good. We had some good moments. I think I made the bush shootout that year. Fished against Ish again. He got the $100,000. I got $5,000 the bush shootout. I finished second him again. I was like, dang it, Ish. We're good buddies and stuff.
I'll be over there like releasing the spool tensioner on his reels before he takes off.
What was funny is, go back to Ish Monroe. I'm really proud of him for doing what he's doing, the dealerships and everything. But I shot him a message yesterday because when we ran into E40 at the Niner game, I took a picture of my kid with E40 and I said Ish, and he's like, what? He's like, Dad of the Year status. I was like, yeah. So anyway.
Century. That's so legend.
Dude, that was so cool, dude. So yeah, I put that. It's on my Instagram. If you guys want to see it, it's pretty funny. Because I actually had my boy put E40's logo on his watch before we went out that day. I said, if you run into him, just show him that watch. You'll be able to get a picture with him.
Get that bang bang on. Yeah.
Like what are the chances of that, right?
Yeah.
Bang bang Niner gang. So anyway, so we made the elites. We made the FLW tour. We've gone out there. We got a big check right off the get go, and I'm having fun, man. I'm fishing. I'm doing everything I want to do. I'm rooming with Mike Iaconelli in 2006. He wins Angler of the Year that year. And then, I met my wife in Oklahoma, and that was a turning point in my entire. This is where the stories going to get really cool.
Yeah.
I lost a fish at Grand Lake of the Cherokees in Oklahoma. I lost a fish that cost me $10,000, which was a lot of money back then for me.
Ooh,
When
yeah.
you're,
It's a
but
lot of
when
money now, dude.
I lost it.
Yeah.
I lost it, and I was really bummed about it. But then Cheryl at Lawrence, she worked there, service trailer. She does a lot, and she said, "Hey, would you be willing to go to the company picnic?" Because at the time, now I did get the Ranger boat. I'm fishing the tour on that Ranger, right? It's wrapped Akuma because they're still sponsoring me.
Yeah.
It had we had 5-inch graphs, little deals like that. And it had one in the front, one in the bow, just into the, flush mounted. That's what I fished with. It's my electronics. Would you be willing to, you want to come to Lawrence Company picnic? I get there, and I get asked to speak in front of everybody.
Oh.
To do, just my spiel on Lawrence. I said, well, I'm not really sponsored by Lawrence, but sure, I'll speak. I went there for the free food. It was a company picnic. There's free food.
Man after my own heart, dude. Free
Yeah,
food?
I'm like, dude,
down.
I'll get this fried chicken or whatever we got here. We're gonna eat.
Dude.
And I got this whole plate in my hand. Then they want me to speak, and I did speak. I said some dumb things like I really love my unit, thinking of my electronics, not.
Yeah, that's solid, dude.
I remember Byron was. You remember when Byron was The Bachelor?
So I wasn't into fishing then.
Oh yeah, so Byron Velvick was the second Bachelor ever, and Mary Delgado was in the first Bachelor, but he chose her in the second one. She was there with me, and she started laughing. That's when I realized I said something I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
And then that's the craziest thing. An ice cream truck, like I was done with my speed. Ice cream truck came by. A few minutes later, I wolfed down some food, and she's like, "I want to get an ice cream." I was like, "Well, I'll go get one. What the heck?" And I walk over there, and then this blonde girl comes skipping her way over there, and I went ahead and bought her an ice cream. Best ice cream I ever bought. Because I told Mary, I was like, man, I really like her. She's cute. And she went and told Dave Ittner, who was the Lawrence boss, that told the dad, which was my father-in-law now, Steve Swisher, that I thought she was, cute, whatever. She came back over, and I gave her my business card, like Bassmaster Elite qualifier business card. Really cool.
Yeah.
And I ended up, we talked on the phone. I didn't, she met up with me at Table Rock. We were pre-practicing for a tournament then. She met me up there, and we had a great time. So when she got on the boat with me that morning, this is what anybody that's looking for a relationship with someone that you can have a long one. If you can take a woman out on the boat, ask her if she swims, immediately throw her in the lake. If she comes up smiling and laughing, she's the one. That's exactly what I did. Yes. I threw her in the lake. She came up smiling, laughing. And we just had so much fun. I did not even practice. We just ran around. We found rope swings, swing off, jumped in the water. We just had a blast. It was so much fun. Then she went back home, and I'm like, man, I sure hope she, calls me again or whatever. Yeah. And finally, I just, we talked on the phone a little bit, and I flew her. I got her one-way ticket. This is, again, we're all rooming together. We got Iaconelli, Ish, Byron, and then his girl Mary. We're all rooming together. And all of a sudden, I bring Julie on the road with me. I just say, come on. And we went to Oneida. We had a good time. Then we kind of just split off and did our own thing.
Yeah. And
I came back, and she introduced me to her parents. Now, here's the crazy thing, too. And this is just because of when you're single, young, you're just chasing everything. Andre Moore threw his logos on the side of my truck, the Reaction Innovation logo, if you guys are familiar with it.
Yep.
It's got a pole and a dancing girl, and it says Reaction Innovation, another pole. Yes. That was my logo on the side of my truck.
Yes, you pull up to Mom and Dad's house.
She's like, "Are you?" She was like, "Why aren't you coming?" I was literally peeling those stickers off as fast as I could. I was like, "This is so bad. I can't believe I even have these on here." I was embarrassed all along having those on there, but yes.
Now it means something. You're like, oh.
So I pulled them off, and she was laughing. And
you should have stuck them on Byron's van. That would have been funny.
Yeah, I'll tell you some stories off the air because it's pretty funny. The stickers that were pulled in places. But so I told I went in there. I met her dad, it was such an amazing time of my life meeting him and her mom. Jane, my mother-in-law. It's hard because I'm talking about them like they're my parents now, right? So I met him and he's got this really cool fishing office. I knew he worked at Lawrence, but I didn't really know much of his backstory other than what Julie had told me. And again, we're just dating. We go in there and I see this. This is crazy because remember what I was telling you all earlier about a little history. I look on the wall and I see this plaque, and on the plaque it says Zebco 33 Classic, and it's this really cool, like metal looking on wood plaque. And I'm reading it, and he puts his hand on my shoulder. He goes, "You know what you're looking at?" I go, "Yeah, it's a 33 Classic." He goes, "Yeah, that's the patent. I got the patent on that."
Oh,
That was my first rod and reel when I was a kid from my grandpa.
yes, dude. Yo, I'm in the right place. I belong
dad.
here. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me that wasn't meant to be.
Dude, that's divine intervention at that point. You're like,
dude,
hey,
I'm telling you, like,
I'm
dude,
supposed to be here.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna get choked up because it's that special. It's when I realized there was meaning to life. You know what I mean? Like real meaning. And so it wasn't very long after that we got married and had our first kid. She came on the road. And I think when she came on the road with me, I went 9 tournaments in a row, cashing big paychecks.
Yes.
And then it was 2007. I had finally qualified to the majors. And I took her dad fishing at Grand Lake the day before I left. And I was making a left turn, kind of a busy, like it was like, one-way traffic. Mm-hmm. It was the first time I ever saw an armadillo. and it was dead, but it was the first time I ever saw one. So I'm making this left turn. I stop and I look and I go, holy cow, that's an armadillo. I mean, they're kind of common out there in Oklahoma, but to me, I was still a California boy.
Yeah.
I never seen one. I stopped, and then when I realized I stopped for too long, a car came around the corner and just plowed into the back of my truck. And this is literally the day before I got to leave to go to a major. Mm-hmm. Well, there was I got the ticket. It was my fault, insurance, everything else. My truck still drove, still towed the boat. I went ahead and drove all the way to High Rock Lake in North Carolina. And I remember looking at my truck, like every time I stopped, just all dented. I mean, it totaled that guy's car. Like at that time, I had an old Tundra, like one of the first runs of Tundra. Dude,
like the T100 or whatever it was.
Anybody's looking for a good vehicle, like find you one of them old Tundras. I think mine had 150,000 miles on it. We got it used. It was actually my dad's truck, and I just bought it off him. And it was literally like he bought it used. It was we never had a problem with it. Even after that, I got it fixed.
My buddy's dad still has one of the original Tundras.
Where you open the door and it's got the door that opens the opposite.
Yeah, the suicide door on the inside. Yep.
Best. I sold it to. Well, so anyway, this major, I get out there, and I remember pulling up there thinking somebody's going to walk away with a lot of money in this tournament. First day of the tournament, I get out there, I catch. What I catch? I caught 3 bass the first day. It's 50 guys. No entry fee. First place, $250,000. Second day, I caught 3 fish the first day. Pretty good ones, but I was like middle of the pack. The next day, I catch 4, but it was getting late in the day when I only had like 1 fish. And I started taking a shaky head and swimming it down the side of the bluff walls. Why I was doing, I have no idea. I was just fishing frantically, and I just started swimming this. And I got bit. And I'm like, okay. So I keyed in on it and started realizing, dude, this is like a trick. It's kind of what Ned rig is today. It's kind of like darter heading. I was fishing like we did old school darter heads at Lake Shasta back in the day. But I was doing it with a shaky head. And I hooked into a big one, a really big one. And when I hooked it, now here's the kicker. Middle of that day, we had officials in the boat. My marshal goes, man, he goes, I was really hoping you were going to win me a boat. And I'm thinking, how am I going to win you a boat? He's like, the biggest fish on day 2 wins a boat. And here I am. I hook it. And I said, well, let's go look. Let's try to catch you. I almost gave up on the tournament at one point, started throwing a big swim bait, hunting a big one. I said, let's go win you a boat, thinking my best chance right now is him. I win a boat and he gives me a tip, right?
Yeah.
Be like $1,000 or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did get a bite on a swim bait, never caught one. Anyway, so I went back. That's when I figured out the shaky head thing, and I started swimming it. I hooked this big one. I caught the first one was like 3 pounds or something. Then I hook this big one. I see it come up and I go, oh my gosh, this is a big fish. There's no doubt this thing's almost 7 pounds. Like and he's freaking out. Can I help you? I'm like, no, you can't help me. And I get it. And I got it in my hands and it's still on the side of the water. I'm thinking to myself, dude, I don't even have enough for a paycheck, but I just won this dude a boat. So I get it and I put it in live well, and now I'm just like, I'm running out of time. I got like 45 minutes to fish. I got 2 fish in live well at the time. That's right. I had 2. And I got one almost 7. So I go straight across the other side. Now I catch like a little 2-pounder. And then I hook a 5 with like no time left. I hook it, I fight it, catch the 5-pounder, put it in. I think I had like 17 pounds for 4 fish. Like, I think that's what my weight was. I run in. I didn't have a limit the first day. Didn't have a limit the second day. I make it in the top 10. The weights start over. We go to another lake, Lake Townsend. A little itty bitty lake. There was no practice allowed. I think you were allowed to run around, but I never even did that. I just went there blind. And I remember like fishing in there a little bit, and it was a course format, right? So you could fish one section, and you just had to rotate every hour. And I kind of started in the marina area, and I picked up a little drop shot and just pitched against the retaining wall against the bank. Caught like a 4.5 and like a 5. I fished the entire lake all the way around. Now, the last hour, you get a happy hour. You can go wherever you want. I've only got the 2 in the boat. I don't know what anyone else has got. Nobody knows back then, though. You don't know, but there's nothing. You don't know anything. Yeah. I run back in there, and guess who's sitting on that wall? John Murray. And I go, John, do you mind if I? And he goes, man, there's like a 3-pounder on a bed. I didn't even realize I caught bedfish. I just pitched a drop shot and caught these 2 big ones. Yeah. And he's catching the little males that he didn't realize I already caught the females for. So he goes, there's a 3-pounder back there in a little ditch. And I'm like, awesome, thanks, John. So I throw a motor over there, and I think it's the same fish. I don't know, but I look down there and I see, oh yeah, man, it looks a little better than 3 pounds. And so I throw a little white jig down there, literally first flip, and it goes, and I hook it. It's got it, and I got cameras, on the bank taking pictures. I fight this thing. It's like 6 something. Big one. So I got 3 fish. I got 3 fish for 50. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I had like a 6-pound lead or 9-pound. I had a really big lead with 3 fish. I haven't caught a limit yet in this tournament. The next day we go out. You get to pick so they asked me, because now I've seen some big ones in there, because it's the end of the day and I start seeing them like they're on beds. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Sun's high. You're like, oh, there they are. Yeah.
At the weigh-in, if you get to pick what hole tomorrow, which one are you going to start? I said, well, I'm going to start number 1 because there's a 10-pounder in the back. I saw it. It was 10 pounds. And I thought they were going to take the guy who was leading the tournament to pick. They went off Angler of the Year. Well, I had a good year. I was 7th in Angler of the Year at that time. You know who was 4th? Ish Monroe. Oh. They asked Ish, where do you want to start? I just told everyone it was a 10-pounder there on stage.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm going to start in hole number 1. So now I have to start in the hole that leads to it. Luckily, I pitched a drop shot off this little rounded point and caught a pre-spawn 3-pounder. I'm like, and again, there weren't that many big fish caught. They were all really tiny ones.
Yeah, that one's just fat though. Pre-spawner.
Yeah, it was just a fat little dude. Yeah. I mean, it's all on TV. You could look it up on archives. It was called the American Major, and so I caught that one, and then I went around and I couldn't catch it. I think Ish had already lost that big one. He hooked it and lost it. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because I've lost some big ones that helped him win. So anyway, we go around. I catch like 3 other fish. It was like a slot limit or something like that. So I ended up catching 4, and I'm coming in. I got like, I don't know, 9 pounds or something. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I wish I would have. There's no way I'm gonna win this tournament. But I had big enough. I think I had a 5-pound lead. So I think what it was. Now I'm starting to remember. Anyway, I go to the weigh-in and I win the tournament. $250,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So now I'm like, I just went from, I had 4 second places in bass in 12 months. And now I landed a win. It was unbelievable. So that major really set me off. And then a year later, I won at Lake Murray on a frog. And then that's when I started getting sponsors was after that. And that slowed down. I haven't won in 2012. I won PA tournament,
Mhm.
and I really have not won a major. I've won a lot of little things. I've won a lot of little tournaments, but on the tours, those tournaments carried me for all these years. You know, we're 20 years in now,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating because every time I fish, I try to win, but
Yeah.
you know you come short. You've had bites. I've had opportunities. I've you know knocked down some other top 5 tournaments, and just the wins have kind of eluded me for a few years. But I'm ready to get another one. So
Yeah.
that's my life, guys. That's it. I've married my wife. We got 2 boys. Oldest boy's practically a pro right now fishing. He's doing the college thing. Um, got the
And what?
ultimate Angler championship here at Guntersville for
Yeah.
$500,000, and you know that'd be a nice hit to win. But man, life's good. I never dreamed fishing would take me this far in life.
Dude. And okay, so there's a whole lot to unpack in there. But I would like to say like one thing, like, or ask you one thing. Did you take a lot of the winnings that you did and like reinvest in yourself and like reinvest into your sponsors? Like, hey, let me market this, or did your sponsors see that you're responsible enough with your money too? Because I mean, 21, you're gambling, but now you're a father, you're a
Yeah.
husband. Like you've kind of, it sounds like you reinvested yourself. It's very hard to make a like a long life off
Oh yeah, no. Winnings.
short sums of
So
money.
yeah, the winnings was what got me to be able to get the sponsors, and then the sponsors have obviously, you know, I've lived off sponsor dollars pretty much, and then I've invested. I made some good. I mean, you know, living in SoCal, I made an investment with um, with an ammunition company with Jesse James. I've done
Oh,
some really
hell
cool
yeah.
things that have paid off, but yeah, I mean we've gotten lucky in some other situations, but yeah, no, you can't. I've always been the guy that like, if I get a sponsor, if there's an opportunity to get some sweat equity in the company. If
Mhm.
I was going to teach somebody about sponsorships and the way to do it, you know, if you're looking at a new company that's trying to get into it, and you want to go that route, I mean, you got your old faithfuls, the big ones, right, that are out
Mhm.
there, but chances are you're just going to try to, you know, collect a check out of them, or you know, you got to prove that you can sell some products. But if you
Mhm.
can maybe cut back on that immediate money and look at the long term with the company and believe in what they got, and take some what I like to call sweat equity, you know, a small percentage. Um, those are, and that's what I did with that ammunition company as well. I was sponsored as well, but I also bought into it.
Do you mind
But
naming it, or
it's Ammo Inc.
Ammo Inc? Okay, hell
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, it's a good one.
yeah.
And I'm pretty much cashed. I got some more share, a little bit of shares left, but I did good with that one.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah,
Yeah.
no, there's been some good things done there, but like right now, I'm working on a couple new deals that I'm trying to pull into that sweat equity side of things. I'm dabbling into the steel business a little bit. Got a new partner there. Yeah, no, I'm one of those guys that like if there's an opportunity, I rarely do I ever say no. If it is a no, especially a hard no, I usually look for a guy that I know. I've given like deals to James Watson because it fits his character.
Yes.
There was a company that made weights called Balls Deep. I'm like, dude, I am not promoting that. There's no way. But I
Yeah.
got a guy. Got a guy for you. You can,
Yeah.
and you know, I gave it to James. But you know, it all comes back around. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
you
And
know what I mean?
okay.
Like, it's got to
Yes.
fit you. You got to believe in the products. I mean, don't take deals that you don't believe in. I've been very fortunate. You know, Optimum Baits, Matt Pano has been with me pretty much since day one. He gave me the opportunity to make my own swim bait with
Mhm.
Optimum, and I
Which are
love it.
dope, by the way.
I
I have a handful of them here. Yeah.
I always have one of those swim baits tied on. You
Yeah.
know, and
They're weedless. You can throw them anywhere.
yeah, I got the weedless one. And what's crazy is like even here where I live in Darnell, I'll throw that where guys are throwing chatterbaits, and I'll clean their clocks. You know,
Mhm.
it's that good of a bait. It's just you got to throw it. You got to go out there and throw it, and you'll catch some fish on it. And
Well,
you know, the frogs. That's the big thing I got right now. We did a
oh yeah.
frog. We sold it to GSM, which is one of the big ones, and now we've got more frogs in the development stages. We got a couple getting released here just in a couple of weeks. I keep telling you a couple of weeks. It's been a couple months, but
It's okay.
October
I just
is
keep
the
checking
delivery day.
back. Yeah.
I know. I'm excited. The Sonic Boom and the Mongrel. We got some new ones
Yeah.
after that we got coming out, but for right now, those two are dynamite. And
Yeah.
I got that big tournament at Guntersville, and I'm like, I've got like 2 mongrels to my name. And I'm like,
Yes.
not even wanting to fish them out here. I can't. You won't see me promoting it much until after that tournament because
Oh yeah.
I can't afford to lose them.
Yep. Yep. No, I get it.
It's
So
basically like a 1 ounce super spook that you can throw anywhere,
Mhm.
anywhere.
Mhm.
And it gets bit, and the bites are hellacious. They're awesome.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna get my hands on a couple of those for sure. But more along the lines of what I was saying, like reinvesting in yourself. Like I've met you in multiple places, and I'm talking. I met you in Columbus, Ohio. I
Yeah,
met you out here in California. You live in Arkansas. I mean, you travel for fishing. That is your job. But at
yeah,
the same time, you're going to these places not just for fishing. Like you are working with your sponsors. You are promoting. Like you are putting in the legwork. You're investing
yeah.
like in yourself and showing your
Oh
sponsors
yeah,
that you're willing to like step the extra mile. Like you just seem like one of those dudes that's just willing to work hard for every nickel and dime, which
yeah.
I respect fully. Like I think that's super awesome.
I think a lot of it comes from being broke, not
Yeah.
having it. When you gamble, like or I say gamble, when you believe in yourself enough, but things don't work out, and you've hit that rock bottom.
Yeah.
I almost feel like everybody should hit rock bottom. If you don't, you'll never really appreciate the good. And
Everybody has to
I've
fail.
I've
Yeah.
done it numerous times, young,
Mhm.
and like from sinking my boat to getting back. I didn't even tell you this. After I sunk my boat, the next week I went snowboarding and woke up in the hospital 4 hours later at Truckee because I really wanted to be a pro snowboarder, and that ended that real quick. But I got fired from a job where I was making spinner baits for a company called Viper, which later became VPR. Which, um, yeah, kind of, it was a great job, but I was making baits and I couldn't make them anymore with a broken thumb, and
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. You
called in
can't.
sick. I kind of, it's the only place I've really been fired from. I called in sick and went snowboard. Came back with big old goggles, tan, and broken thumb, and he's looking at me going, "Dude, you can't make baits fast enough. We're gonna have to let you go." I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of saw that coming."
Yeah, I get it. I get it, Mouse. Yes, sir.
But yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
No,
is
man.
funny because that's what started Revenge. The guy that was pouring the weights there, he started
Mhm.
Revenge baits, spinner
Hmm.
baits. Which unfortunately he passed away, Ray, a few years
Yeah.
back. But he was giving us the lead, and we were doing the rest. Um, and then I think they had a falling out, and that's why he came out with Revenge. It's funny. I've been around during all these things. I mean, I got so many. It's crazy. Over the years, you see how things kind of evolve. So
So, and you've had a wonderful, sounds like tournament career. I mean, like you said, right now you're like kind of just you'd like to win another one. But I got some questions for you when it
yeah,
comes to tournaments. Like early on, of course, you're broke. You're just trying to make it to the lake. You're just trying to make it to the next one because you just don't have any money. You're grinding. You're like you're
yeah,
starving. And then
yeah.
finally you start winning and you get some money. Are you ever is it just a job to you? Are you driving from home to the lake, or do you like stop and check out like the world's biggest ball of yarn? Do you like actually enjoy the road trip itself as well?
That's a good question. I think now that I'm older, I think I'm gonna start doing that a little bit more because I do feel like there's a lot of stuff we pass up. I mean, even when I was going back and forth to California, like I'm like, oh, this next trip I'm gonna stop at the Grand Canyon. I never really did that um, until we moved my mom out here after my dad passed away, and I took her little Camry while she, flew with
Mhm.
Julie. I took the boys and we did a trip at the Grand Canyon, and my,
That's
my
awesome.
oldest had he had the mullet going, so I had to reenact the whole Joe Dirt scene. Of course, I mean that was very important to me. So we did that.
Yeah.
I had him, Mom, Dad, where are you? Oh, I love it.
The little sleeveless flannel and stuff. Go,
Oh,
go.
well, we didn't go into that much detail, but he did have the full mullet.
Oh yeah,
He was
that's
young, and
awesome.
it was funny. It was funny. So,
Yeah, dude,
um,
that's so awesome, man.
but yeah,
Um,
the thing about one of the things I've learned about fishing in this career is when you first do it and you're young, it's a very selfish, lifestyle. You're doing it for yourself.
Mhm.
You're all you think about is that next bite, and you think about the next trophy, and you think about the money you can win, and you think about, you know, what it takes to do that, and you put a lot of energy into that. Then you start getting some sponsorships. Now you got to work for them too, so you got to make sure you're doing the right thing for them, or they won't be there next year. So you got to make sure you're putting equal amount of time in with them, and then the family life comes, and then
yeah,
you realize what's really important in life. And the family is it, like you said, you've been out a couple of weeks to
oh
spend
yeah,
time with the family, dude. I admire that more than anything because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. The kids grow up so fast, and
yeah.
I can tell you this: I was so wrapped up in tournament fishing. The one year I wanted to be the Iron Man. I wanted to fish the Bassmaster Elite Series. I wanted to fish the FLW tour, and I wanted to fish the PAA tour, which was the Professional Angler Association. That was all in 2012. Well, my youngest son was 2 years old, and I was gone for 6 weeks one time. 6 weeks. And I came back, and at 2 years old, he goes, "Daddy, do you even want me?" And I'm telling you right now, imprinted in my brain, fried, I was ready to quit.
Yeah.
I get sick thinking about it.
Yeah. Dude,
So
that would hit
why
me
I do
like
these special trips, like take him to the Niners game. Like
yes.
I am not just, but when that happened, I realized that's when it hit me. You need to figure out what's important in life, and you need to make sure you take care of those kids and you do things for them. And I probably put more on myself, being gone and worrying about them than worrying about fishing, and I think that, when I come back, the cool thing about our sport is, my parents work day in and day out, and we never had that family time. So when I come home, I'm with my boys. Like we are, Avery and I are going to go play golf. We're going to go do, whatever we do. Jackson and I, we'd fish. Mom would pick him up from school and he'd jump on the boat with me. And I'd be on the water already. We'd fish till dark. I mean, it was
I've seen it on your social medias. You guys are playing basketball in the yard, and like you're doing it all. Like
we do everything. Hunt. Like I honestly, like I love hunting, but the last couple of years I really hadn't even hunted. I just sitting there with my kids and let them do all the hunting, and I love it.
Yeah.
So, I just.
Do you feel like that perspective switch has like?
Yeah, I think
made
it's
you feel more whole
as
a human. Do you feel like that perspective switch has made you feel more whole as a human, or do you feel like it's created a void between you and tournament fishing?
I don't. So I've come to realization, and I've learned this through my sponsor. Yeah, they want me to win. I mean, everybody that helps. But I've done it for so long and built the brand, it doesn't even matter anymore. I want to make sure while my kids are still young, we're an empty nester now with one. We've got a few more years with my other one and of Avery, and I want to make sure my Avery.
Yeah.
And I just want to make sure that, I get the most out of it. Most of the time with them. That's what's really important to me. So
you feel more whole.
I'm not thinking, a lot's changed too in tournament fishing. Obviously, the advancement of electronics, the social media, the people can learn at such a faster. I didn't have that. Like it was going out there trial and error.
You're looking at a tree, you're looking at a point on land, and you're looking at like
triangulate.
This is where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I still catch myself in that midst of technology and doing the old school stuff. And so for me, it's like I love the technology, but I also feel like I can really do better without it. If that's the case. So but at the same time, I'm learning. I learn as we go. One thing I do realize, these kids like Jackson, my oldest, and Avery, even when they get out on the boat and we're out there live scoping, they process that information so fast. It is insane. Like I'm sitting there like, how did I get so slow in my old age? I feel like I'm doing it right, but they know the moment they're feeding, the moment they stop, they know it's cool. It's really cool. So.
Yeah, man. And then sorry, door closed. I was gonna say, when you're out there with them, like, do you because I don't know about you, but what I'm trying to do is give my kids everything that I couldn't have, but at the same time, I don't want them to lose the work ethic.
Right.
So you've sat here and told us your life, like you grinded.
Yeah, you guys know everything pretty much.
Grinded. So do you instill that in them, that they have to grind to get what they need, or?
Yeah, I mean, I really do. I try, but it's
also.
I feel like I spoil them a little too much. I know that, and it's hard because I didn't get that,
Yeah.
And I want that for them, but at the same time, we make them do their share of work around here. We live on some land, and there's a lot of work to be done around here, so we put. And Jackson's just. Here's the thing about Jack. He left high school with a 4.2. I barely even I think my senior year, it was like the best year I had was a 3.5. But I was more like a 2.5, a GPA. So
Oh,
for him
wow.
to
Yeah.
just be smoking it through school, get the scholarships, and
You're your
it was
mother's
almost like I
son.
don't. And then he goes out and wins money in fishing tournaments. And I'm like, well, how can I tell him to go serve ice cream or something like that, or go work at a burger joint when he goes out one weekend or a Tuesday nighter and cashes $400? Like, how do you
Right.
tell? What do you do? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like
Yep.
it's working for him, so I can't. I don't want to. The last thing if my parents detoured me from my dreams, I wouldn't be here right now. So I want them to chase their dreams,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's where I'm at with it. But at the same time, there's a lot of responsibility that they're going to learn real quick. And I think Jack's now on his own a little bit. And he's starting to realize how good he had it living with us.
Yep.
But
It's like,
he's got, I mean, he's
hey,
got,
we all got to learn, dude. That's the
Gotta
best
learn.
part is, hey, man,
Yeah.
this is the rough part. This is
It's
the
the rough
break-in
stuff, so.
process. Yeah.
yeah. And he really never has bad tournaments. And they went to Kentucky Lake on this big bass deal. And it was just a one fish deal. And I don't think he did very well because I haven't heard much from him.
Oh,
So
no.
I think that's it's kind of a blessing because I think he's like understanding that you're going to have some hard times and how are you going to get through it. So he'll figure it out quick.
So I have to move this fan because it's now blowing in the microphone. But I do have a question because you brought it up perfectly. What do you do? Like, how do you come back from that? Because you've had terrible
This is the
times
worst
too.
year I've ever had.
And I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, what's the mentality that you use, like, to keep yourself going through it? I'm gonna move this fan, but you start talking. I'll be right back. I can hear.
Yeah, no. For me, I've always been a check casher. Like it was like, what, if I can just cash some checks, we're gonna do a little better and break even on entry fees for the year, and with sponsorship dollars, we're making a living, right? So now this year was a rough one. I went an entire season, and this is so embarrassing and humility, and like I never cashed a check. I never cashed a check on the Bass Pro Tour, other than heavy hitters. I did get big bass day one.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
It almost got. It was a tie, and then I almost got second. I got second big bass the second day, but I laughed at those tournaments because I realized I pulled out my glide baits. I went fishing. I went fishing the way I know how to fish. That is the boom boom in me, right? That is the power fishing. Chasing 2-pounders around on the Bass Pro Tour, looking for schools like that, it doesn't even sit well with me. That's not my radar. That's not how I fish. I have no desire to go back to that tour. I look, it's fun. Guys are good at it. I have to go hunting 5 big ones. So I'm happy. Like it was. Oh yeah. And here's the other thing. I went back and looked at what my 5 fish limits would have done in that tour. I'd have got 5 out of the 7 checks. So yeah, there's a big difference when you go to Potomac River and you get 17, almost 18 pounds for 5, and you don't even cash a check. You've done something that is not right. It's not fishing the way you want to fish. So I'm excited about next year because I'm going to go back to. It was a very good learning curve doing the Bass Pro Tour, doing the numbers thing, because it's fast paced, makes you think, stays on your toes. You got to quickly adjust. That is a good tool to have now because I don't sit on stuff as long, but I still chase those big ones. So I feel like I'm more deadly now going into next year than I have been in the last decade. So I'm excited, like really excited.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Now,
dude.
as far as when I'm gonna fish next year, I don't know. The MPFL is looking really good.
Oh yeah.
They don't allow live scope, which is hard on me because I'm sponsored by Garmin and live scopes. I enjoy it. I think it would be cool if they had some limitations over there with it, where you could use it and not use it. Bass Pro Tour, or not the Bass Pro Tour, the Pro Circuit. They allow the live scope for like 3 hours a day. So there's that. See, what got me like with live scope, the guys go on the minnow catching the numbers, right? That's where I never did that for numbers. Like I never went out there utilizing that tool for the numbers deal, and that it was one period a day. And those guys that did that, they all caught them during those periods, and that's where I screwed up this year on tour.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So you said it almost perfectly, at least for me. Like this is a man-to-man thing. Like I'm a live by the sword, die by the sword guy.
Yeah.
And you go out. I think that whatever you do, go out and fish the way you want to fish.
Yeah.
Find the one that works for you that way.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
Because at the end of the day, like you can go shake these guys. They go shake minnows. They go do whatever. Good for them.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan of it. Honestly, I'm from California. I hate throwing a drop shot, but I'm really good at it
Yeah.
because I know how to do it. You know,
Right,
and I
right,
know that it
exactly.
catches
I'm right
fish.
there.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay, that they're in. Like I've done a bunch. I do a lot of online tournaments just because family man, and
Yeah.
I'm older. I don't have the finances to be able to go tour, travel, and tournament. But when I do these online things, I have that weird, like kind of what you're talking about, the battle, the internal battle
The
of
internal
do
battle.
I go catch, do I go throw the presentations where I know where I'm going to catch a bunch of numbers, or do I want to go fish the way I want to fish because I only have this amount of time to go fishing,
Right.
And so it's like, you know
Yeah.
what? Like at the end of the day, I start by trying some numbers things because I always give into that, and I realize I'm like, dude, I'm just not even having fun. Like, why am I even out here? Sure, I would love to win some money. That would be great. But at the end of the day, like, this is not what brought me into fishing. I'm gonna go fish the way I want to fish, and I'm either catch them on a frog and a spinnerbait, or I'm gonna sit in my kayak later and just be like, well, I didn't. So I went fishing in Tennessee with a bunch of guys. It was a huge wacky worm bite. Everybody's catching them on wacky worm. We all went fishing. We had like a gentleman's bet. I went with like Alex Rudd and John Dalton and Darren Wendell. And so we all went fishing. They're slaying them on a wacky worm. I'm out there throwing a spinnerbait. I'm throwing a frog. Like I'm literally throwing the Fred's frog, boom boom frog, and
That's
on
awesome.
top of
I love it.
Darren throwing his wacky worm. He's like, get your frog out of here. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna get him on top. And just like, oh yeah, they all caught like 20 fish and like had a great time. They're like, how many did you catch them all? 2. Like just
But if you would have
good
catch it
time,
on
though.
5, you might have beat them.
The whole thing was I probably had more fun than all of them just because I was doing what I wanted to do.
Right.
And
like, that's what it comes down to. I think for me, so the difference, like I love live scoping. So for me, but I want to hunt down. If I'm going to do that, I don't want to try to catch I want to just find the right ones and catch those. Like,
yes.
So for me to go out there and like last year at Toledo Bend, I caught an 8-pounder scoping, right? Like everyone kicked my butt scoping, but I went and caught the big one, right? Like that if I can just go hunt the big ones with it and then spend the time, the windows to throw the frog, and it only works for me on a limitation of fish. That's kind of my point too, is like the numbers, you've got to scope them. Like you can't go and throw a frog and try to catch 5 big bites when they're going to catch 25 on a minnow or however they're doing it, right? With the electronics. So if you can limit it and go back, if I can go back to a 5 fish limit, and I know that sure there'll be guys guys will go out there and scope the whole time. That's fine. I would love for them to scope the whole time because that lets me slip away from the scope for a little bit during that window and throw a frog when I think I can get a 6 to 8 pound bite. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's where I'd never had that luxury, being able to use the tools to my benefit. It just hasn't worked for me because of the way I fish, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Now, in doing that, like, do you feel like any type of way when it comes to the tournament series? Like, are you like, I'm really feeling this one, or is it just, are you just kind of keeping your options open for this next year?
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like I love, like all the anglers have told me that the MPFL as an organization has been absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to dabbling in that if schedules allow. I wish they would allow some scoping, but that's fine. Look, a rule's rule, however they put it, I'm going to fish it. The 5 fish limit's so strong to me. Then you got the new pro circuit, which was the invitationals last year. They changed some stuff out on the payouts, which is really good. The anglers got together and they worked with them. So instead of it being $100 grand, I think they dropped back to 80, which is fine. If you win tournament and you win 80 grand, you're
doing good.
180. You still got the incentives with your sponsors. You might win over 100 anyway. So for me, boats would give it 35 anyway. So I mean, if I win, I'm still gonna have a great tournament. So I'm liking that, and they got a championship. The Bass Opens, I looked at the schedules for those. They look amazing. I've been so busy that I have not put it to paper yet to actually figure out. Like, I may just look at it and see which one doesn't overlap the Ultimate Frog Championship, so I can come back to California and throw a frog.
Hell yeah!
I love it. I'm gonna do me. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna find out which schedule, it's all out there now. And I feel like, the Bass Pro Tour, they cut the field from 80 to 66 now to 50. And so there's a lot of us. Of the core guys that started it, there's only a handful left.
Mhm.
And it was fun at first, but then I realized over the last couple of years, it's just not my style of fishing. It's not as enjoyable for me to do. And I'm not trying to bad talk the league by any means or anything like that. It's the format, the stress behind it. I want to go have fun, man. I want to fish. I love, like, my days off. I'm out here, like, I'm fishing. I
Yeah.
love fishing, but
Yeah,
I
man.
want to fish the way I like to fish. I'm
I
stubborn.
love that. I love that, dude. That's actually one of the questions I have. I have like a question round at the very end. It's pretty simple. We're gonna get there, but I do have a couple more just general questions. Like this year on the tournament circuit, whatever tournament circuit, are you going to be bringing family along, or do they just not want to go, or how does that work? Like, because I can imagine in the beginning it was really fun, and then
Oh yeah, when the
after a
kids
while
were
they're
young,
like,
they traveled. Yeah, when
yeah,
the kids were young, they traveled with me. Dude, that was when I had the best time. Honestly, it was having the family with me and the
oh,
early
yeah.
travel. And then the kids went to school, and then I started getting lonely out there. Not having my kids. I mean, I travel with some roommates and whatnot, but just not having the family. So with the MPFL, which I really do like, is back in the old FLW days, Julie could practice with me. So
Oh yeah,
now the MPFL, you're allowed to have, your
your
spouse
wife.
practice with you or your kids or whatever. They can practice with you.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it's really cool. Honestly, like I love that. Like, so I like everything about what they got going on. I'm a huge fan of that organization, what they got going, and that could be the core of what I do next year.
Hell
But um, if Jack's or Avery's in school and sports and stuff like that, so it's real hard for him to get away and travel.
yeah. Mhm.
With football, he's a quarterback, so it's like they have summer practices. It's like so it's
Yeah,
real hard right now
yeah,
to get them to travel. So that probably won't get to do much of that
yeah.
with them. Maybe in the summer for a week or two, and that's about it. So um, my
As a
goal is we moved to Arkansas, so I
yeah,
could be home within a day almost anywhere. So when the
hell yeah.
game's over for me, I can start leaving that day and be home that next day, no matter where I am.
That's awesome. Yep.
So
That's perfect. I was curious why you chose Arkansas. I was going to ask
yeah,
you because I mean, you're a Niners guy, but you're in Razorback territory. So I mean, there
yeah.
is a bunch of cats that are on the Niners that were Razorbacks at one point or another, along with Fresno and all those boys are out there
Yeah.
too. But I was just curious. I was like, wow, that's a long strike. So that was the reason why you moved, so you could be an hour away from the family, no matter, or a day away from the family, no matter what.
That's right. That's right. That and plus we have a great body of water here. It's very challenging.
Yeah,
Lake Darnell.
Yeah.
We actually had a Simpson University crew swing by right before you
Yeah, right before we
we got on this
started.
podcast. Yeah, they
Yeah.
one of the boats, their team boat is actually sitting outside here.
That's awesome.
So, I feel like we have a pretty safe place where we live. We can hold a few boats if people ever need to leave them in between their travels. I know that I had friends that allowed me to leave my boats so I could travel back to California and stuff without towing the boat.
Yeah.
Very thankful for everybody that's helped me over the years doing that, and I'd love to give back that way if it all helps. So.
That's so cool. Yeah, because you were like, I got some guys dropping a boat by. We'll get on in a minute. And I was like, yeah, no problem. But I didn't really know the backstory for it. So that you're literally just like, hey, man, like this is a safe place.
Yeah,
Come on, I know you guys are driving a real long drive after this. Just leave your boat here. That's awesome. That's so cool.
Not a problem.
Yeah,
for
man.
us.
All right. So one more question I have, just dad to dad.
Yeah.
My son is 10.
Yep.
I'm slowly not being cool anymore.
Yeah.
And friends are becoming cooler than me.
Yeah.
And it kind of hurts a little. Like,
It
how
does
did you do that? Like, was it just kind of like you just kind of got to accept it, or because I mean,
that is such a you got to accept it a little bit, but I think it's just a temporary thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that he's 10, he'll come back around by the time he's 12.
yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I think that my kids went through that with me, and then, just I think it's just an age thing, really more than anything. I think what worries me is like when Jackson. And this is what it happens to all of us, right? Like So Jackson was old enough to start fishing some tournaments, like a team trail with me, and he bailed on me a couple of times, and I was like, okay, well he wants to go to church. I'm not going to hold him from going to church to do,
Yeah.
some youth obligations there that he's got, and I was like, well, okay, we'll miss this event. Then one day I just asked him, I said, Jack, could there be a girl there that you like? And he didn't really respond.
Mm-hmm.
And I put it together, and I'm like, that's when you got to worry. Dave.
Yeah.
When the girls come along, that's what I'm getting at. Like, he got a girlfriend, and then hanging out with me wasn't really that important to him anymore. That was, I think, so we went through that, and then, they went through their quick relationship. Now he's back to fishing.
Yep. Yeah.
But he moved on to college, so I'm having that. It's hard. I didn't realize how much it would hit me not having my kids around.
Yeah.
But I try so hard to be their best friends. It's hard because you got to be the dad. You got to be the strict one too. But it's. I don't know the right answers for any of this stuff. I didn't even know I could ever be a dad, to be honest with you. Like, I didn't know how to do it. Like,
same. There's no book. No one,
no book. You just natural, right? So,
or you just go with the best instinct, and if it's wrong, you learned.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fun. It's honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way. No way.
Yeah.
Would I want it any other way?
Yeah.
So
I back you with that. It's. I have a lot of friends. I have a few friends, not a lot, but I have a few friends who don't have kids, and they're out there doing their thing. And every now and then, I'm like, man, it would be nice to go do that. But at the end of the day, like, all it takes is a smile or a look from my daughter or my son, and I'm like, this is it. Like, this is it. This is all it is.
I mean,
my wife gives me looks too, but they're never like, oh, this is it. It's always like, what did I do? But I love my family. They're amazing.
That's amazing right there. That's a blessing.
Oh,
I mean, just
absolute blessing.
Just the flight back today. Avery's he's gonna be 14. This was kind of his birthday present. And go out there and he fell asleep on the plane. He just kind of leaned over on my shoulder. I'm like, can this flight just last a little longer, please?
Yeah.
Because those days, the snuggling days, they're gone.
Yeah. Oh, don't tell me that, man.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. I love the snug. I'm just starting to get selected as the snuggle person with my daughter. Like, she's finally kind of going away from mom and choosing me, and I feel I'm just like I'm chosen. I love it.
You're the chosen one.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, man. We'll get to these questions, dude. Yeah. Again, thank you for sharing your life story and experience, man. I genuinely appreciate it. But these questions are going to be, they're a little on the deeper side, some of them. So take your time if you got to think about it or whatever. But the first ones are pretty easy. Who's your favorite angler and why?
Ooh. Oh, man, I got a lot of favorite anglers, but I'm gonna go back to one we talked about earlier, John Murray, Papa Murph. That's what we call him. John Murray is a West Coast legend. For those of you young guys that don't know, the guy's won over 33 bass boats. He's an absolute legend. He's one of the greatest, humblest dudes. Honest. He will, give you the shirt off his back. I mean, he's that guy. He will look after you. I mean, he's just one of those. He was kind of my hero in some of the old Western Bass magazines, whatever it was before I started fishing tour. Just reading articles and then getting to meet him, and just like I went and traveled on his 40th birthday. I was in my 20s, and he took me to Mexico, to Puerto Vallarta for his birthday. Like, it was I didn't even, like, back then. This is back when I was broke, and he took me out there on his dime, like, to hang out with him and some other buddies. I was like, dude, so cool. Like, so John Murray, and he is, and Skeet Reese will contest this as well. I know it. He is one of the greatest. He is very intelligent with bass fishing, understands bass better than most, and he's had some crazy success. So, yeah, I think he's probably my favorite. Hopefully I get to room with him in some of these events next year.
Just tell him, be like, hey, we're roommates.
Yeah.
Just don't even let him say no. Respect.
I know, right?
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. So here's another one. It's a little bit different. Spend a day with anyone, not going fishing. You can go fishing, but what would you want to do with who
I mean,
Like-
it's not just who, it's with them, my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just take them out on a boat ride, go fishing, just spend a day. I don't know. I don't care if it's fishing or not. Just anything to spend time with my family. That to me is that those days are so precious to me.
Yeah.
You know, I lost my mom on Christmas. Sorry. And I was very fortunate for the last 4 years to have her move out here in Arkansas. We had our Friday lunch dates. Like I'd take her to lunch, go pick her up, take her to lunch on Fridays. And just spending that little bit of time with my mom was amazing. Because I went a lot of years on the road not seeing her, you know, and then to finally get to spend that time with the family. So for me, it's definitely moments with my family.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Time is a thief, dude. It's an absolute thief.
Yeah.
Okay. My neighbor just got home. He heard his Harley.
Nice.
Biggest fear.
Honestly, my biggest fear is probably fishing out here on Darnell and one of them water moccasins gets in the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had one just the other day. Like last time I was out, we had this little aluminum boat. We went up the river. And this sucker, they're unpredictable. Like
They're
them
mean.
suckers will, like I'm looking over the side of the boat and this sucker's coming straight at me.
Yep.
Fast. And he just paused and looked. I mean, we looked at each other in the eyes and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to attack me. So I jump up and I grab a rod and we just stared each other down. And then he turned away and looked off. And that like gave me a nightmare like that night. I got sick to my stomach after looking at that thing. Like, and my kids are in the water, like Jackson, the college buddy, you know, his buddies, they're in the water swimming. They're not even scared of this thing. I'm like, we're way up this. If you get bit by that thing, you're not, I don't know what kind of time frame you got to live, but it's going to be 45 minutes before we can even get out of this creek. So yeah, I don't know.
I hope you can slow your blood flow.
To my mind right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was to say, I hope
you
you slow your blood flow, man, because that's the calmness is what keeps it from spreading, you know. So yeah. Oh God, yeah. That would scare me too. Not gonna lie. Yeah. I'm not. Snakes don't bother me that much.
That's why I don't want to kayak, dude, because you're even lower.
Yeah.
Golly, dude, you're crazy. Like.
Yep. I was in Tennessee.
The other thing I'm scared of.
Oh,
because I did that.
They're tricky. they're tricky. I was in Tennessee fishing with the boys, and I had to call one of them from there. I'm like, hey, because there was a snake like coming near the kayak, and I was like, hey, are there poisonous snakes out here? He's like, yeah. I'm all, what do they look like? Because I was, you know, I'm not really afraid of them, and it ended up being a fine snake, and I was like, okay, cool, it's fine. And then I hung up with him, and I was like picking him up with my rod and like taking a look at it, and like it didn't really want nothing to do with me, but you know, it was pretty interesting. But if it was a poisonous snake, I would have been in a completely different mindset. Yep, I'm out. Like, no thanks. Yeah. All right. Here's a good question. Have you ever been broke because of fishing?
Have I ever been broke?
Yes, because of fishing.
Because of fishing? Yeah, many a time. We talked about that.
Yes, we did. It's just it's in the question. Like,
yeah. But you know, broken money is one thing, but I think if I ever I've been broke in too.
Yeah.
So I mean
All right. What's your biggest struggle in life right now?
That's a good question. Biggest struggle in life. I mean, we all have our struggles. I mean, one for me is, man, I've been trying to lose weight, like working out and going to the gym, and it just does not want to come off now that I'm 47. Like, I mean, I'm 46. I'll be 47 in November, and I'm like, man, I should have. You know, I struggle with my addiction to ice cream. Sweets and like I'll go work out. I'll do 3.5 miles on the treadmill, and later that night, this is probably my single most struggle in life. I mean, you're getting it right now from me. That 11 p.m. bowl of cereal.
My God,
can't get rid of it. It's my whole life. I struggled with it. If I could just somehow magically not get that hunger at that time, dude, I would be in shape.
I can relate to that so much. Yes. Dude, I'm trying to do myself. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to be more healthy. My wife's got me in this CrossFit. It hurts.
Oh, nice.
It's actually really awesome because I'm super high energy. So
Yeah.
I'm not just picking heavy stuff up all day. I'm not just stepping in repetition. I'm actually like scrambling, which is good for my brain.
Yeah.
But midnight hits or like late night hits, and I'm up
Yeah.
doing proposals at work, and I'm like, I'm eating cookies and a bowl of cereal, or like if we got some ice cream sandwiches, I'm definitely like over the sink like a rat, so I won't leave like any traces, like just.
Dude, I got up the last night we were here before we left. I got up. There's some ham, so I started rolling some cheese in the ham. Okay, well, I'll just do the protein thing. Well, then I looked and I saw milk, so I got poured this big old glass of milk, and then I was like, you know, what'd be good in this milk? some of that cereal. So I went in the box, poured the cereal, filled up the half the cup. Now it's just a little cup. Okay, it's better than a big bowl. I ate it all, and I was like, you know what? Seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. There's still milk left. Hang on.
But the good thing about doing all that is you go right to sleep like a baby.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you guys are right out. Dude, I love it.
So bad.
Oh,
yeah,
totally.
that's my biggest struggle in life right there. I think honestly that is it.
Yeah. Awesome. Dude. Hell yeah. All right. So this is the time where you get to actually genuinely be proud of yourself. And so what's your major life accomplishment? Like, what's your life hammer? What can you beat your chest on and be like, I did that?
Well, got one kid in college, not all the way through college, but being able to do that, that's one thing. I've won, some bigger tournaments, that was always getting a blue trophy was always a big goal of mine as a kid. When they started the elites or whatever, got one, won some tournaments. So that's obviously one. And then of course, just, holding on to this marriage and family and, we are very blessed. I mean, we've had a lot of, with the career, obviously there's a lot of ups and downs financially.
Yeah.
And we had Denny Bauer's wife, first year on tour, kind of with my wife, Julie. She was saying, you got to be ready for the ups and downs. And so we made some good decisions there financially to put us where we need to be. But there's right now to have an opportunity to choose what I want to fish next year. That's a big accomplishment to me. It's funny because I just came off the worst year, got pulled out of the Bass Pro Tour, and I feel like it was a blessing. Like, I feel like that was meant to happen because, like I said, if I went back and looked at my tournaments on a 5-fish, it would have been a really, really good year. And it was a choice that was forced to me. So, yeah, I know it's kind of off the subject, but I feel like an accomplishment is knowing that it's in my court right now.
Yes.
It's in my court.
Hell yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Awesome, dude. I'm excited for you. Like, you're stoked. I'm getting stoked just listening to you. Like, I'm excited for you, man. That's awesome. It. All right. Have you ever learned a lesson on the water that you've implemented in your life or vice versa?
Oh gosh, all the time. I mean, that's a really good question. I think fishing in general, and I remember talking about this 15 years ago, maybe, is like all the life lessons you get out on the water. Some things are just like, just as simple as just paying attention, like to detail. You back your boat in, you forgot to unstrap one. It's no different than not tying a shoe or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you just, there's something to be said about, and you'd think I'm lying if you looked at my boat right now, because it is a total disaster, but organization skills. If you wake up in the morning and you make your bed every morning, you brush your teeth, try to do a little bit of a workout. If you do all those routines, it leads to success. And I think on the water, retying when need be, making sure your tackle's organized, know where everything is at, that leads to success as well. So I think there's just a lot of correlations there to be, successful.
Absolutely. Yeah. So routine is a big
Routine,
staple
yeah.
for you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
You got to put yourself in a little bit of a routine.
Yeah.
Um, and if you get that early part of the prep, I guess it's more of a preparation too thing, like in the morning, or in the evenings before you go fishing the next day. If you put a little bit of extra time into getting it ready, it'll be a more enjoyable day on the water. And it's the same thing. If you do things, the simple tasks at home,
Yep.
you'll have a much better, successful day.
Fully. I've had that explanation. I've tried to explain that to my wife. You've explained it very eloquently. I always tell my wife I work really hard in the beginning so I can be lazy at the end.
That boom, nailed it on the dot right there.
Yeah, she don't like me to hear it because the word lazy's in there and she doesn't like it. But all right, biggest mental or emotional block for you?
It's funny because for a while, like this was even back in the 5 fish limits, I went through a time where I couldn't get that dang fifth fish. Like it was a panic mode. Instead of staying relaxed, you get. It used to be the first fish was the hardest.
Yeah.
It was that fifth fish, and I kept coming with 4 fish. Like it was weird. I was like, the limit, like that should be the easiest thing. Like if you're able to catch 3 or 4, you should be able to get 5. And for whatever reason, I get to that fourth one. I went through this little lull where it was like I couldn't get that fifth one. I have no idea why, and it was a mental thing. So I went through that, but now that I've gotten used to the numbers thing, and I can't catch 20, but I could probably catch 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like this last few years of Bass Pro Tour probably was a blessing in that sense, that maybe it teaches you to not be so stubborn, get stuck in your ways, but to adjust and make things go quicker, so you catch 5.
Break that 4 fish funk,
Break that 4 fish funk.
Yeah, dude. All right. So where does you've said it, but where does fishing fit into this for you now? Like cameras off, nobody's out there going out and just fishing, just you.
Man,
Do you still do it?
I do it. I do it
Yeah.
a lot. I do it so much. And I've been fortunate to have some sponsors that there's things we call honeydews.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using this a lot lately. I got to do some stuff around the house, for my wife.
Mm-hmm.
Just little tasks, like
Mm-hmm.
she likes gardening and stuff like that. She might want some dirt moved or some plants, shovel around or whatever. Also, sponsors like, hey, we need a video for that. That's my excuse right there to go fishing.
I gotta go.
I go, hey, I go, or we get some good weather, and I go, hey, babe, this is the weather why I moved here. I want to go.
You see that out? You smell the air this morning, honey? It
See
smells
the clouds,
like content.
You see this? It's like temperature drop. Like these are the little things I want. It's not like this every day, but no. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Oh, I was just saying, where does fishing for you? It's all good. Fishing for you.
I love
like
fishing. Fishing for me, dude. It's my favorite thing to do in this world. Like go fishing.
Yeah.
Like I probably love fishing more than most guys. Like that tournament fish. Some guys do it just because they're good at it and they know that it's their way of life and their income. For me, it's like I get out there and I still want to like tinker and come up with some new concepts, ideas, whatever it is, and it's just that exploration. Every day is different. Fishing is never dull. It's never the same tedious thing.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to me.
Dude, that's so awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, you're ate up. I can just tell you're just ate up. Like you're inspiring. Like how you describe it is so inspiring to me because you have been fishing for so many years and you just love it. Like
just love it.
That's
I love
awesome.
it. And I think one of the things that hurts me the most is doing it all these years.
Yeah.
And having too many ideas and having too much gear in the boat and too much instead of just simplifying. I have a hard time simplifying unless it's the conditions right to throw a frog all day or something like that, or we're forced to throw a frog.
Yeah.
The frog tournament, right? Like
Oh yeah.
I want to go,
Y'all, be really good right now. It's good punching weather.
Now I've got piles of rods on my boat right now, so that's not even there.
Yeah, dude. All right. So tell us one thing that no one knows about you, like a window into who you are.
I think I told you everything about me.
Yeah.
One thing that nobody knows about me.
like for me, I preen when I drive, whether it's Q-tips or nails or like, pick my nose or whatever. I'm always doing something when I'm driving. I comb my mustache. Like I can't just keep both hands on the wheel and cruise, So.
Oh, man. Man, you got me stumped on this
Dude,
one.
no, it's all good. It's
We
all
have to
good.
circle around to this one because I
All
don't.
right.
I think, yeah, I don't know. You know what? I probably, honestly, I'm probably one of the few guys out here in Arkansas that likes all music. Like, it doesn't matter if it's, great country music, some heavy metal, or some rap. Like, I listen to it all. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I think the music is, there's just times I'm in the mood for something, or there's times, uh,
The mood calls for all.
yeah, mood calls
Yes.
for all. There's sometimes you want to be pumped up, sometimes you want to reminisce, or, you
Yep.
know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't know. I think I've got zero musical talent, zero. My wife and my kids can sing just about every song they ever hear, and I can't. I can listen to the same song over and over for 3 weeks. I still won't remember the first lyrics, the first part of the lyrics. Like I can't process
Yep.
that information in my head. Like I don't understand it, but I love it.
Yep.
So
No, I can relate. I can relate.
that
I
may
like
be
it.
that may be it right there.
There you go. I love
Oh,
it.
and I'm not good. I'm not good. If you told me to like give me a line, like if sometimes sponsors give me a line to like have to repeat. To do.
Oh,
I can't do it. I cannot repeat a line and they have to film it two different directions. That will never happen with me. I have to, it all has to come off the hip. I have to talk when I feel like talking, and that's it. Like there's no way to go around that with me. And maybe
I
that head injury I got when I was snowboarding when I was younger.
Yep.
I don't know. That's why.
Hey, I can relate to that 100%. I shoot from the hip 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain things in my job that I cannot shoot from the hip with, but for the most part, like this podcast, like all these questions, like this is the only written form. Everything else, it was just like we just ride,
That's
dude.
awesome.
We're just gonna have a conversation, like
Yeah.
that's pretty much how I live. So I can relate to that 100%. All right,
Yeah.
last.
Anytime I do big seminars and stuff, I've never had something planned. I just get there and talk. I do not. If I had to do that, I would stress off it so much that I would never do a seminar.
I'm going to recommend everybody right now. This, I guess this is another plug. I'm going to recommend you guys go get yourself a subscription to the Bass University and go look at Fred's classes, because I watched them and studied them for a year. Cause I was like, dude, the way he's talking about sashaying a frog, like you guys need to check that out. And like, if that's all straight from the hip, you're a genius. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
awesome.
I promise you, I don't play. Like when they do the PowerPoint things, someone else doing that for me. I just sent them a few photos.
Yes.
And then I'm reading it for the first time when you're all seeing it.
That's awesome.
Because I'll stress. I will put myself in a stress situation. I don't like it.
Oh yeah, dude. That's so good. All right. Last question. It's a 3-parter. It's about your health. So what do you do for hydration? What do you do for diet? And what do you do for mental clarity?
Great questions. Yeah, so I will say that I've been very guilty of this ever since I was probably 18 or 19 with all the traveling and road trips and sales and everything else. I think I've been addicted to energy drinks my whole life. Okay, but I do sugar free. I don't.
Okay.
You
eat the sugar
but as
later.
far as so for the last month, I may not look it yet, but I feel it. I have been hitting the gym really hard. Like I have gone 5 days a week, from strength exercises to cardio, and I have felt so much better and got more energy. And I don't know how I'm going to carry that on through tour, but I feel guilty like today because I traveled all day not going. But yesterday morning before the football game, I went down to the gym, at the hotel. So I mean, I'm really getting back into that side of things, and I'm hoping that, they call it recomposition when your body goes from like you don't really drop the weight, but you're kind of getting stronger and balanced out, and then so I'm in that. I'm going to say I'm in that. One day I'll lose the baby fat, but as far as hydration, I always get those little liquid IVs. Those are great little deals. Gatorade makes some good ones. I like putting those little packets in the waters, but I carry a lot of water. I've got a really cool sponsor called Twist Lock, which I highly recommend anybody. You can put on your kayak. It's a locking cup. So before I even go on the water, I'll just take one of my cups, fill it with ice.
Yep.
And it'll hold the ice all day. So then if I take a water, I can pour the water in there. It could be warm, and it
Mhm.
cools it down, right? So you don't always, like, unless it's really hot day, I'll still get a bag of ice. But I can go out there for the most part with just that cup of ice. I've got another holder, so I'll have 2 cups of ice. But and I get that on my refrigerator instead of buying a big old bag of ice, you know.
Yeah, dude.
So that cup's really cool, and you can go 70 miles an hour, and you won't lose it. It's a tumbler.
Yeah.
It's just
It's got the locking stand
Yeah.
that you can mount. Like you can either track mount it or you can hard mount it. And yeah,
check it out. Swiss Lock never spills their motto. So yeah.
Well, if you flip a kayak, it might spill. Just to let you know.
Yeah.
Trust me, I flipped them. It's all good.
Do not flip.
So okay. And what do you do for your mental clarity, dude?
Peace at home. If I know my peace is at home, I'm mentally clear. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as I know my family's okay, that is really all that matters to me, right? So that I do, like, before a tournament, you know, I'll get music jamming, and I'll get to listen to something that really makes me want to sing that I know I can't sing, but I might not know the whole lyrics, but I kind of feel it, you know?
Yeah.
And if I get that going and I get that little bit, that's pretty good mental clarity, you know?
Yeah. That's a whole vibe right there. Like, yeah.
And here's one thing about energy drinks I've learned over the years I've done them is, like, if you drink one and you start the day off with a backlash, or you may end up with a level of frustration that is untangleable.
Yeah.
You're going to be stuck with that for the tournament. You're screwed. Now,
the jitter dive.
If you catch one, you're in a good mood, and you pop an energy drink, dude, you're in that good mood all day, and nothing can break you. So
Hell
I know
yeah.
it sounds bad. It sounds like I'm talking about drugs or something, but it's not.
Nah, dude. No.
It's literally like a bang or a C4 or a monster or whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So
hey, I drank bangs before. They
well,
get
the
you
bangs
kicking.
what I'm doing. It's more of a pre-workout, so I've been doing that in the morning before I go to the gym.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. Dude, I love it, dude. Dude, Fred, now's the time. Shout out where everybody can get a hold of you at.
Yeah, so really Instagram's the best way. Fred Roumbanis.
Mm-hmm.
FredRoumbanis is my handle. But if you just type in Fred ROU, it'll probably pop up immediately. So that's my Instagram account. Facebook's kind of weird right now. If you try to friend me on Frederick Roumbanis, is where all my Instagram gets linked to.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to accept you as long as you're not like some spam account.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't look at it a lot. Sometimes it goes months before I look at it to accept somebody, so I apologize there. I do have a fan page, Fred Roumbanis, but I've been kind of locked out of it a little bit, so it's kind of hard for me.
Yes.
So Facebook's just a challenge all the way around.
Yeah.
Instagram is great.
Yeah.
I trying to do the TikTok. I don't know. I think I'm too old for that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
The TikTok's just not working for me really well.
Yeah.
So I got it on there. It's still Fred Roumbanis, but Instagram's the best way.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And dude, again, thank you so much, dude. Like
thank you, Dave.
I couldn't have asked for a better 1-year guest, dude. So I really appreciate you, dude. And honestly, I'm gonna bust you out right now.
Yeah.
A little super fan moment. You are literally the only person I've ever had sign anything in fishing.
What?
Yep. I only have like 3 people that I want signatures of, and you are the top of my list. So, and that's why I made sure to give you an original Boom Boom Frog and then the new GSM Boom Boom Frog, because
awesome.
I needed you to sign both of them because it meant that much. So I appreciate you.
Wow.
Dude. Yeah.
That means a lot. That's wow. Humbled. Thank you.
Dude, no, thank you. So I'm gonna throw you in the green room. We're gonna keep chatting in a little bit because I know you. I know you got to get going to bed because it's late where you're at. But, you got a bowl of cereal to tackle in a minute. So hang on 1 second. I'll leave you to be. I'm gonna close this show out real quick. Thank you everybody for listening. This was an incredible episode. I'm so happy we did this. I'm so happy it finally came to fruition and me and Fred got to sit down and talk, and you guys got to hear the struggle and the story of who he was and how he became who he was. So if you guys like this, throw a like on the, all the socials or whatever. Hit me up if you guys ever have any questions. You guys know how to get a hold of me. I'm either the Wolf of Walmart on Instagram, or you can hit me here at the Whole Angler Podcast on the Instagram. And as for JT and Eric, I see you guys out there recovering, man. Let me give you some good vibes real quick.
I'm for face. And that's no one face. And that's not a face. For a few days. And some banana trees. I got some trees. Come out the door.